The following is a presentation of Santa Monica College.
Welcome to Corsair Field in Santa Monica, California. SMC TV presents American Pacific college football action. It's homecoming this afternoon at SMC, and the Corsairs host the Vaqueros of Santa Barbara City College. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ghazal Hassan. My broadcast partner, Will Polig, will be alongside the Corsairs trying to win their 7th game in a row to defend their conference championship. They come in having won their last 2 games by a combined score of 85-0. Their defense has pitched a shutout for the month of October, but it's the offense that has been the focal point for most of the season. Will Polig will come in. He'll bring you some of the highlights of that squad.
You are not kidding about this offense. This offense has been simply on fire. They're averaging over 37 points per game. They are led by their standout quarterback, Alfonso Medina, who has 17 touchdown passes and only 2 interceptions. Last week, he set a career record throwing his 41st touchdown pass with a total of 48 touchdown passes on the season, 2 shy of 50. Other standouts in this team are Miles Johnson, who has over 700 yards rushing for the Corsairs, and tight end could be a matchup problem. Don Barrera has over 300 yards. It could be an interesting day here offensively for the Corsairs.
Thanks, Will. That's the book on the Corsair offense. For our defense, we'll go to our sideline reporter, Beth Haggerty.
Thanks, gents. We also have an explosive matchup on defense today. The Corsairs D has been crucial in every victory up until today, and they're led by Quan Floyd, who has over 9 tackles per game and 4 interceptions on the year. Now on the other side, the Vaqueros have come into the season ranked number 2 in defense, and they have a little secret weapon, Morgan Nevin. He is the leading tackler in Southern California with over 11 tackles per game. So keep your eyes peeled for both of them, and now let's take it upstairs for the opening kickoff.
Welcome back to Corsair Field here in Santa Monica, California. Ghazal Hassan along with Will Polig, Beth Haggerty along the sideline. We're about to kick off here. SMC hosting the Vaqueros of Santa Barbara City College. Santa Monica in the navy jerseys, white numerals, those smoke gray helmets, while Santa Barbara in the white jerseys, red numerals, and red helmets. Will Polig, Santa Barbara won the toss. They elected to defer and give the football to Santa Monica. Perhaps a mistake early by Craig Baropoulos, the head coach of SBCC. Santa Barbara City College will kick it off. And putting his foot into the ball is Marcus Horberg. It'll go deep and roll in for a touchback past Miles Johnson. So the ball will come out to the 20 for Santa Monica College. Up front for the Corsairs, Dominic Vaughn at 1 tackle, the 6'3 sophomore, 285-pounder out of Sarah High School in Gardena. Craig Lowe at the guard, 6'5", 270-pound freshman from Samo High. Brian Polio, 6'1", 290, sophomore from Manuel Arts at center. Alfonso Dixon at 1 guard, 6'6", 320-pound sophomore from Brooklyn. Marcus Shakir, 6'4", 285, freshman at the right tackle. He's a Pali High product. Alfonso Medina, the quarterback behind center for SMC, as Will mentioned in the pregame, he's already thrown for 17 touchdowns on the year, and from the spread, work the Corsairs. Brown in motion, the snap hits the receiver, it's a live ball, and it looks like Santa Monica fell on it with about a 4-yard loss, Will.
That could have been a lot of trouble for Santa Monica. Pregame jitters, I guess.
2nd and 14 upcoming. The ball will be spotted at the 16-yard line.
When running these trick plays, you really have to make sure that every player is keen on what they're supposed to do.
So we've played about 25 seconds here in the first quarter, no score. We're just underway, and a play that could have been disastrous for the Corsairs, but now Medina will be under center. Medina, the sophomore from Venice, will hand the ball off, running left. Johnson leads 1 tackle. He's up over the 20 to the 22, so got back the yardage lost and a couple more, about a 6-yard pickup for Magic Miles Johnson.
You really got to watch how this guy cuts. He really hit on all cylinders.
Johnson, the Carson High School standout, had over 2,100 total yards as a high school player. Last year for SMC, 280 yards receiving, 846 rushing. He's got over 700 this season. Medina will work from the shotgun on a 3rd and 12 from the 22-yard line. Medina takes the snap. He'll turn and roll a little bit. Rolling to the near side under pressure. Will put the ball up, and it's incomplete. He threw it away. 4th down, and the Corsairs will have to punt. So perhaps Craig Maropoulos, crazy like a fox, gives Santa Monica the ball. 3 and out for the Corsairs.
That'll bring up 4th down.
Check 1, 2.
Back to punt for Santa Monica is Rhett Tillman, the freshman from Culver City, averaging just under 38 yards a kick. Tillman puts his foot into it, and the ball will be fielded. Actually, won't be fielded. It's going to roll inside the 45 and be down by the Corsairs. Mitch Nelson was deep to receive for Santa Barbara. So the ball at the 43-yard line for Santa Barbara City College, and they'll come out led by their quarterback, Jared Evans. Evans is a freshman from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, West Catholic High, transferred to Santa Barbara from Towson State, where he spent a year.
I'll tell you what, because I'm really excited to see this quarterback play. Being from the city brotherly love myself.
Kevin Dennis in the backfield with him, 5'8" freshman, Green Acres, Florida. The fullback is Jeff Walton, a local product, 5'10" freshman from Palisades High School. The receivers, and they're good ones, for Santa Barbara, Kyle Brown, 5'8" freshman, Scottsdale, Arizona. Anthony Fullman, a 6'2" sophomore from Irvine, and Stephen Jerome, a 6'1" freshman from Boynton Beach, Florida. Handoff to the first man through. That looked like Dennis, not going to get much on that left side of that Corsair defense.
Kevin Dennis, the ball carrier. Tackle made by number 32, Benjamin Brown.
And Benjamin Brown comes up to make the hit. He's the North Torrance product. It'll be 2nd and 10 upcoming for Santa Barbara. DeLeon Scott, Marcus Manley, Devin Reyes, and Taylor McDaniel, the front 4 for the Corsairs, as Jared Evans will work out of the shotgun. He'll throw to the near side. The ball is complete to Fullman, dancing around, but he'll be tackled on the outside for Santa Monica. Joshua Gonda in on the hit there.
Anthony Fullman on the reception.
Yeah, Brown. That was Brown in on the hit.
Ben Brown. Gain of a yard on the play. It'll be 3rd and 9, ball at the 44-yard line.
Not much of a chunk there, Will. Just a yard on that screen, but Jerome is dangerous, as is Fullman. Fullman 7 yards a catch, but Jerome 18. So the receivers are potent for Santa Barbara. Kyle Brown averages 12 yards a catch. 3rd and long, 9 yards to go. They need about 47 on the other side of the 50. Here's pressure for Santa Monica, running right, throwing across, complete for a first down of the seam, down at the 41-yard line. Catch made on the play. That looked like it was Stephen Jerome.
Absolutely beautiful pass, beautiful job.
That'll be a first down for the Vaqueros. Ball to the 41-yard line.
The soft part of the defense, and now the hurry-up offense run here by Santa Barbara. So Evans, the completion up to the 43, and they'll stop the clock. We have a stoppage on the field. So a 12-yard gain on that play. The catch made by Brown. Now we have a stoppage on the field. Unsure as to what it is, but now looks like they're going to reset the game clock, or the play clock, and now they'll wind it. 1st and 10 from the 42 for Santa Barbara, ticking down the 12 minutes remaining first quarter. Jared Evans, the freshman from Philadelphia, behind center. Out of the shotgun, he's got a single man back there with him, 3 receivers in the formation. We'll hand the ball off to the tailback. Moving up, that's Kevin Dennis. He'll be towed under, maybe a yard on that play, the middle of the line for Santa Monica. Manley and Reyes step up.
This Santa Monica defense is playing some hard-nosed football here on the run on the inside.
Tackle was made by number 56, Marquise Murray.
Coach, describe the scene.
Gain of a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9, ball to the 41-yard line.
Shutout going they've been having going on this season.
They have shut out their last 2 opponents, Will, by a combined score of 85-0. They have not surrendered a point in the month of October. 2nd down upcoming, throwing left is Evans. It looked like that ball might have been tipped. Nice diving. No, not a catch. Couldn't hold on to it. That was Anthony Fullman on the far side of the field, the sophomore from Irvine. Incomplete, 3rd and 9.
Intended for number 10, Anthony Fullman.
It looked like number 2.
That'll bring up 3rd and 9.
On that pass.
So the clock stops, 11:11 to play. The secondary for Santa Monica, Aaron Rodgers, the freshman from Hamilton, Rico Wright, the freshman from Miracosta, Kawan Ford, the freshman from Crenshaw, and Jelani Williams, a sophomore from Chaminade. The linebackers, Ben Brown, Austin Ehrlich, and Juan Climaco. Back deep is Evans throwing right, in and out of the hands of the tight end, Tyson Heller, Caldwell, Idaho product. He's one of their more productive receivers. Uncharacteristic drop for Heller.
You got to come up with that catch, ball. You got to come up with that. That's a third down conversion that needed to be made that didn't make.
Fourth down upcoming, and the punter on for Santa Barbara.
Now this is where a lot of fires should go off for Santa Monica.
Ralph Gordon deep to receive the punt on the year. The average is 11 yards a punt return. He does have a touchdown as well. He's going to call for the fair catch at the 10 and let it float over his head. It'll go back for a touchback. So one offensive possession each, Will, and they've exchanged punts.
I kind of think of Santa Barbara with the ball a little bit better, but it's still early in the game.
Medina and the Corsairs will start from the 20. They'll go 1st and 10. Medina in the backfield with Miles Johnson. 3 receivers set for Santa Monica. Ralph Gordon, Carzell Vickers, and Reggie Mitchell. Dominic Barrera is the tight end, and he's a good one. First down, Santa Monica from the shotgun. They're from the 20. Handoff inside to Miles Johnson, running right, trying to get around the edge. He's up to the 25-yard line, still on his feet. He's got a first down. Up to about the 32-yard line before he was shoved out of bounds.
First down. He'll be 1st and 10 for the Corsairs. Ball at the 31-yard line.
Miles Johnson, the 5'6", 185-pounder, such a low center of gravity. He's hard to bring down. Kind of a Darryl Sproles type effect in the backfield. Medina out of the shotgun. 10.5 to play, first quarter, no score. Santa Barbara and SMC, they'll hand it off to Johnson again. He'll take that, try that right side, but he'll be gang tackled there in the middle of the field, maybe a couple of yards for Miles Johnson.
Check. Gain of 3 yards in the play.
They'll give him 3, so it'll be 2nd and 7. So Miles Johnson so far, 3 carries, 21 yards. 2nd and 7 coming up from the 35 for Santa Monica.
Average 7 yards carry so far. That's not any chump chains.
Johnson's so elusive, and he's also great in open space. Very hard to bring down.
He has over 750 yards rushing already on this short season.
Empty backfield for Medina. He's going to sling it. Coming in motion is Brown. They're going to hand the ball to Brown, but whistles and flags.
Penalty flags prior to the snap.
False start called on Santa Monica, so we'll march that back 5 yards. They'll go back to the 30. It'll be a 2nd and 12 situation. I like the variance in offensive formation so far for head coach Gifford Landheim and his offensive assistant David Bonuelos.
Absolutely. He's keeping Santa Barbara on their toes. You know, coach normally likes to take those first 10 plays and do a little tricksters on them. So it's looking like it's going pretty good. They just got to stay on side and stop jumping.
Under 10 minutes to play, first quarter, no score. Santa Monica with possession. They're in the blue jerseys. Moving right to left on the screen. The white jerseys are the Vaqueros of Santa Barbara City College. Medina with a single man in the backfield. That's Miles Johnson. Will take the snap. He's looking deep. He's flushed out. He's going to roll to the right side, being pursued by Borchard. Will throw the ball late. Nearly came up with it, but overthrown, incomplete. Nice diving attempt there. Looked like that was Carzell Vickers.
Now Gazal, he may not have completed that pass, but he showed some pretty good awareness, escaping that pressure that he had, stepping up into the pocket and rolling out.
Over his career at SMC, Alfonso Medina has thrown for nearly 4,200 yards. He knows a thing or two about throwing the football.
I'll tell you, he's got some presence out there, Gazal.
2-year starter at Venice High as well. His senior year in high school, Will, threw for nearly 2,600 yards on a team that went 13-2. Medina out of the shotgun on a 3rd and long. He'll move to the left side now. He's being flushed out. He's got time, though, and he'll throw the ball middle of the field, complete and stripped, so it'll be incomplete. It looked like Carzell Vickers had that in his hands, but a good play on defense to strip it away. That was Colin Christian, the freshman from Truckee, California for Santa Barbara.
Again, Vickers needs to come up with that catch. That ball hits you in the hands, you got to catch that football. Now, a little bit on Medina. He's a local from the area, from Venice High School.
Rhett Tillman on to punt for Santa Monica. The freshman, speaking of local kids, he's a Culver City High product. Back deep to receive is Mitch Nelson for Santa Barbara. No scores of yet, 9:11 remaining first quarter. Homecoming here at SMC is Tillman's. It's going to be a short kick. It's going to bounce at about the 47 and roll, well, kind of roll laterally. It's down there by Santa Monica, and it'll be 1st and 10 from the 47 for Santa Barbara. So good field position in the first couple of stretches for this Vaqueros, Will.
It's one thing to have good field position, Gazal, but you have to make that field position work for you, and they haven't done it so far.
9:04. Coming into the game, the Vaqueros averaging 23.7 points a game. That's 5th in the American Pacific Conference. They average 326 yards a game, which is about midway in the conference. They like to balance it out, about 200 yards passing and 130 yards rushing a game for Coach Craig Moropoulos and his squad, and we'll see Jared Evans again. Evans out of the shotgun, takes the snap, hands it to the tailback. That's Dennis running up the middle, and he'll be stopped at about midfield.
This Santa Barbara offense is averaging about 19 points per game. They're really going to step that up against Santa Monica, who's averaging 37 points per game.
4 yards on play. It'll bring up 2nd down. Tackle made.
Santa Barbara's strength, Will, is on defense. And the problem with that is that Santa Monica's offense so prolific, you're really going to have to hang some points up. I mean, even if they hold Medina and company to 21 points, they'll need to score 28 on their own. And they average just under 24 points per game as Evans back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 6. Hand the ball off to Dennis, running right, finds it, but Ben Brown there to stop him, gets a little help from Billy Sanchez as well.
See, this is the game plan that Santa Barbara needs to play against Santa Monica. They gotta keep possession of the ball, keep the ball on the ground, work that clock.
That's a 5-yard gain, so it'll be a 3rd and 1, 44-yard line. So Craig Moropoulos is going to be methodical in his approach, try to keep Alfonso Medina off the field. We talked to Coach Moropoulos before the game, a lot of respect for both the Corsairs and their quarterback.
Absolutely.
Evans out of the shotgun. He's going to throw on 3rd and short. Hesitated, now he's being flushed out of the pocket. That's DeLeon Scott in pursuit. He'll throw the ball downfield. Some contact down the field. There'll be interference on Santa Monica, and I feel bad on that play because Rico Wright was playing the ball, but just got tangled up in terms of position.
He definitely got tangled up, didn't look intentional, but nonetheless it's going to be pass interference.
I think if he's looking back for that, maybe we don't get the flag.
Absolutely. You know, Santa Monica hasn't been blitzing much here. I was expecting a little bit more blitzes put in here by Santa Monica.
They play that 4-man front, and we talked with defensive coordinator Steve Garcia during the practice this week. He's much more of a contained kind of guy, but you can expect he'll find time to bring the blitz. With the 4-man front, at practice as well, they were really harping on contain. As the ball moves up to the 29 after the penalty, 1st and 10, Santa Barbara driving. Evans, 6'4", 190-pound freshman from City of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, coming a long way to play some JUCO ball. Takes the snap, hands to Dennis. No, he doesn't. He keeps it on the option. 25, juking inside to the 22. He's tackled there. Helmet comes off, and the clock is stopped to regain the helmet. What a hit there.
Looking pretty Mike Vick-esque out there, speaking of Philadelphia.
If you can't tell from the little drawl in Will Polig's accent, he's a South Jersey kid from the Philly area. Let me guess, Eagle fan.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles.
Yeah. Jarrett Evans coming in. Had trouble rushing the ball, only under 3 yards a rush, but good double threat, 1,160 yards throwing, 230 yards rushing the ball. Balanced attack in terms of spreading the ball out on the runners for Craig Moropoulos and his Santa Barbara Vaqueros. 7:20 to play first quarter, no score. Second and short upcoming. I think about 3 yards. New quarterback, and they take Jarrett Evans out, and they bring their backup in, and he's going to throw it. It's going to short hop it, and it'll be a 3rd down upcoming. So
that looked awfully close to being a backwards lateral there, Gazal.
That's Jake Umfreyville, the sophomore from Huntington Beach. Obviously has some family in front of the stands today. So maybe a kind of a platoon situation on a passing situation. They bring in Moropoulos. Now Evans back in there. The double threat running and throwing. 3rd down and 3 upcoming for Santa Barbara. They're looking back to their sideline here as we are ticking down 7 seconds left on the play clock. Evans, that quick outside screen to the tight end, Heller. He'll have a 1st down, and they get wrestled, get pushed back. We'll see where they mark it. I thought he had the 1st down on forward progress, and we'll see where they mark the football. That big tight end, 6'4", 270, Will. Tyson Heller from Caldwell, Idaho, a Caldwell High School product.
Now, one thing about Santa Barbara is they're very diverse in their lineup. They have a lot of people from out of state. They even have an international player kicking their field goals.
They have a couple international guys, and it looks like they're going to be short. Looks like they're going to mark it at the 20. They needed to get just over the 20 to the 19, so it'll be 4th and short.
They are just in field goal range for their young kicker.
Yeah, what was it, 25 and in, right?
Yeah, coach said about the 25-yard line and in, he feels safe with him kicking.
Here we go, 4th down situation on the year. 7 of 15 is Santa Barbara on 4th down. Evans turns and gives the ball to Dennis, and he'll have it. Strong leg drive, and he leans forward to about the 17, 1st and 10, new set of downs for the Vaqueros.
He just hit that hole and didn't stop hitting it.
Ball will be spotted at the 17-yard line.
So Dennis now with his 5th carry, 27 yards on the game already for Santa Barbara City College as we tick down towards 6 minutes remaining first quarter. No score, Vaqueros and the Corsairs. Thanks for joining us on SMC TV. Evans hands the ball off on the end around. That's Kyle Brown from Chaparral. Nice tackle there made for Santa Monica. Coming up to make the hit. Was that Ben Brown again? Sure enough, Ben Brown.
What a job containing him to the outside against the sidelines, not giving up any yards on that play.
Well, they're gonna officially give him a yard, but I agree with you, Will. That was a misdirection play designed to fool the Corsair defense. Ben Brown was not fooled.
Absolutely not.
2nd down. They got actually a loss of a yard. So 2nd and 11. We're under 6 minutes to play first quarter. Still no score. The Corsairs have not been scored upon in the month of October. 2 straight shutouts, but in the red zone now are the Vaqueros of Santa Barbara. Evans takes the snap. 2nd and 11. Throws the ball in space to Kevin Dennis. Breaks 1 tackle, but not the 2nd. He's down to the 10-yard line.
See, it's always that second effort. Way to make that first defender miss. 2nd effort plays, leaps and bounds. That's all I can say. There's leaps and bounds.
We're down to 5 minutes to play in the first quarter, and it'll be a 3rd and short. Looks like they need to get to about the 8, so it's a 3rd and 4 upcoming. Evans will take the snap out of the shotgun. 2 steps back, he'll throw the little underneath. That's Dennis again, and Dennis will be stopped right there at the 10-yard line. Good job by the Santa Monica defense swarming on that side. McDaniel there along with Elric.
Pass complete to Kevin Dennis. Short gain on the play.
You know, on 3rd and 3, you got to break that arm tackle. You have to break that arm tackle.
Well, especially inside the 20, right?
Absolutely. If I was coach, I'd look at that run as a disappointment.
So still 4th down, just outside the 10, about a 4th and 3, and they're going to bring on their field goal kicker, Marcus Horberg, 6'1", 175-pound freshman, Stockholm, Sweden. 27-yard attempt, and it's no good. And here we go. Off to the races is Santa Monica. Moving down the field, Rico Wright, 20, 15, 5. Touchdown, Corsair.
Unbelievable. What a block. Right into his hands. No one in front of him. 85 yards with a touchdown.
You know, it looked like the Corsair streak was going to end, but just like that, Rico Wright, the freshman from Miracosta, the former Mustang, gallops 85 yards with the blocked field goal return. Coming on for the extra point is the kicker for Santa Monica. That's Jose Esquivel. He's the sophomore from Hart. What happened there on the block?
He just got his hands up. You keep your hands up, triangle, and you hope for the best. And you know what? This Santa Monica College special teams, they take their special teams serious, and week in and week out, it pays dividends.
Gifford Lindheim, the head coach for the Corsairs, coordinates the special teams, Will. So Coach Giff clapping his hands on that one. Esquivel, snap back, hold down, kick is up, and it's good. It's 7-0 Corsairs. Santa Monica Corsairs will kick up. Jose Esquivel, the sophomore out of Valencia High School, or Hart High School in Valencia, his 34th point after touchdown.
You know, something very interesting about this SMC special teams, their head football coach is actually in charge of special teams. He delegates defensive offense to his coordinators, and that's his baby right there.
Yeah, hey, it's funny, we were wondering about that, talking before the game, but he really gets into it. If you watch their special teams practices, they're as involved as any kind of offensive or defensive side of the football.
They're in perfect form, all three forms of football.
So for October, the Corsairs lead their opponents 92-0. Esquivel puts his foot into it. The kickoff fielded by Kyle Brown on the right side, 15-20, still on his feet, cuts back inside of the 25. He'll be tackled at the 29-yard line, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Santa Barbara. If you're head coach Craig Maropoulos for the Vaqueros, you got to be just slapping your forehead right now because you were knocking on the door in the 10-yard line. You got to make that catch and break that tackle. It was a 3rd and short. They couldn't get it. Turns around, and the points go to Santa Monica.
Absolutely, but you know what? He's a head football coach. He's been here before. His team's been here before. They know how to bounce back, and I'm sure they're going to keep powering up. It's still the first quarter. It's an early game.
7-0. Santa Monica leads. 3:50 remain here in the first quarter. And back out on the field is the offense for Santa Barbara, led by Jared Evans at quarterback.
All you got to do is aim it.
Evans will take the snap out of the shotgun. Gets the ball, he'll throw to the left side. That ball is complete to Kyle Brown, and he's out of bounds just out over the 35-yard line. They'll mark it at the 38.
That was a nice crisp route written there.
It'll be 2nd and 4.
Actually, they'll mark it at the 35, so I was right the first time. But they maybe gave him a couple, so it'll be a 2nd and 5 upcoming. Evans takes the snap from center. Handoff inside, carrying the ball is Jeff Walton, trying to get outside, but he won't. Walton, the freshman from Palisades High, is stopped just over the line of scrimmage. He'll get 1 yard on the play.
Flag on the play here, Gazal.
Face mask on Santa Monica, so they'll march it off against the Corsairs. They'd stop the rush of the 35. So the ball will move up over midfield, Will, and another flag on Santa Monica and a break for Santa Barbara.
You got to play more discipline than that. I mean, it happens, but you need to play more discipline like that. You know there's going to be a fiery battle. You just have to be better than that.
It doesn't matter if he pulls it. It's 15, right?
1st and 10 from the 49. We tick down to 3 minutes remaining first quarter. 7-0 Santa Monica leads Santa Barbara on homecoming. Play action. Looking deep, he's going for it all. Underthrown, but coming back to the ball. Good play on the face guard by Jelani Williams. Are they going to call a flag? Was there contact there? I think they're going to call a face guard on that.
Yeah, it definitely didn't look like contact.
Williams. Sorry, Will, go ahead.
The ball was very well underthrown there. It didn't look like the receiver had any possibility of catching that ball, so I couldn't see that being pass interference. We didn't see.
Jerome was coming back to the football. Williams didn't see the football, so I think they're going to throw the flag because he didn't play the ball, but the receiver. He kind of jumped up and face guarded the receiver. And the flag, they're going to wave it off. Good call, Will Poland.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was pass interference. It seemed an uncatchable pass to me.
We were down on that side of the field before the game, and that corner is kind of a sun field. So my feeling is that Jelani Williams looked up and just saw bright light. 2nd and 10 with the incompletion.
The Santa Monica defender does need to do a better job, though, not putting himself in a situation for a pass interference to be called, though.
1 pass interference kept the drive alive for Santa Barbara. Will not be the case here. Under 3 minutes to play first quarter. 7-0 the Corsairs lead Santa Barbara. Jared Evans back behind center. Single man on the backfield. 3 men of the formation. Evans throwing to the left side. The ball is complete. It'll be tackled right there at about the 43-yard line.
Good tackle right there. Way to keep him short of that first. It's a big down here, Gazal.
Garrett Timlin makes the catch. He's the sophomore out of South Lake Tahoe High School. It'll be a 2nd down and short, about 3 yards to go for the first down. Again, that no huddle. Evans up to the line of scrimmage. Looking at the sideline here, the play clock down under 10 seconds.
Santa Monica showing blitz.
And now Evans will reset, calling the audible there after the consulting with the sideline. Ball snap with 2 seconds left on the clock. The quick release, complete to the seam, flag on the play. The ball is complete to Stephen Jerome, runs after the catch and is tackled at the 23. Let's see what the flag is all about.
That's going to be encouragement on the defense, Gazal.
Our official Kurt Zimmerman will sort it out for us. Good eyes, Will Pollock, good eyes. Who jumped?
The outside linebacker jumped a little early, but he was looking for the blitz, and he just had his timing off just a little bit, but that's all it takes.
So they'll decline the penalty, take the 17-yard completion to Steven Jerome. 4th completion of the day for Jared Evans.
I'll tell you what, it's a little bit of a head scratcher here, seeing Santa Monica having so many flags so early in this game.
They're playing at home for the first time in a couple of weeks. It is homecoming. A lot of the players have some family in the stands, perhaps some jitters. Evans out of the shotgun, rolling to the right. He's got a man, but not anymore. It closes up quickly. Looks like they got away with a hold there. He's going to throw to the back of the end zone. He'll just throw it out of the end zone. And it looked like DeLeon Scott got held there. And that's what he's pleading his case. He was bearing in on the quarterback, the sophomore out of Fairfax, but no call. It'll be second down.
It looks like there could have been a little pass interference call on that pass too, but I'm guessing it was considered uncatchable.
Yeah, he was just trying to get rid of that out of the back of the end zone. He saw a big 6'2", 280-pound DeLeon Scott going on him. Rico right on the coverage for Santa Monica. Second down and 10. Evans throwing left, deflected. Big call up there. Looks like Marcus Manley got his hand up there. Manley, the freshman from Fairfax.
That's one of the first things you learn. If you're on the defensive line, the ball's getting thrown, you keep your hands up. Play dividends right there.
Manley playing little J.J. Watt there. How about J.J. Watt, the kid out of Wisconsin?
Those
big paws, he sticks him up there.
And John Gruden thinks he's going to be an MVP.
Oh, Hall of Famer, that's right. The kid's 23 years old. Let's dial it back, Gruden. Chucky. 3rd down and 10 upcoming from the 24-yard line. Again, Santa Barbara's driven the ball well, Will, here in the first couple of drives. They've gotten to the 20 and now to the 24. Play action, looking deep. Evans now will throw underneath, complete first down. Ball completed to Garrett Timlin, and they'll move the sticks.
I'll tell you what, their play action is working to a key today. They are looking pretty crisp out there with all this play action they're playing.
Tyson Heller, their starting tight end, dropped to pass. And as a result, Garrett Timlin comes in, 2 catches on this drive for 29 yards. So
hey, if you don't keep running the bargain up, somebody's going to do it for you.
See the Untouchables? Make an error, we take you out of the game.
Absolutely.
A little bit different from Craig Moropoulos and Al Capone, but I'm not trying to compare the two. 1st down and 10. Jared Evans back behind center as we tick down to a minute remaining first quarter. Play action again, throwing right. The ball is complete in the flat. Hurdling is Mike Peterson, and he's brought down inside the 5. Peterson from Nijlbing, Denmark, making a play out of the backfield.
They're in serious trouble here, are the Corsairs. They've given up their scoreless streak.
Points scored against the Corsairs were on September 28th with 6:24 remaining in the 4th quarter of a game they won 35-28. The opponent that day was Glendale. Evans with the snap, taking himself up the gut into the end zone. He gets hit, but he's into the end zone. Touchdown.
I said it once, I'll say it again, looking quite Mike Vick-esque there.
5-yard TD run by Jared Evans. Let's go down to the sideline and see what Beth Haggerty has for us.
And on the end of the first, we're just so we're tied 7-7 here. But Santa Monica didn't get touchdown from their offense. They got it from Rico Wright, who made an 84-yard run all the way back for the Corsairs' first touchdown. Let's see what the second quarter brings. We'll take it back up to the booth.
PAT hold is down, is up, and it's good. So it's 7-7 now. Nice play on that drive there. Jared Evans showing a little poise there. He looked a little rattled up in the early going. The last 2 drives, he's looked very good, Will.
He really is. His quarterback presence back there, it's pretty remarkable from the first drive. You got to wonder if Santa Monica's getting a little bit worried how well they're driving the football on him.
You know, it's interesting because you joke about quarterbacks needing to have thick skin. What is it about Philly guys? Why do they all have thick skin? What's it about that area? You're from that area.
Well, it's a very blue-collar city. You know, you want your athletes to be gritty, tough-nosed people, and you know, just like how we are from Philly. You know, if you can put up with a little pushing around, then we're gonna like it.
201-609 up in the booth today. If you're checking your area code check. Couple of Jersey guys watching a little football. Not much more fun on a Saturday afternoon, would you say?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
We're still at the tail end of the first quarter, and at the end of the first quarter, we'll go back down to the sideline to Beth Haggerty, but first we have the kickoff. Horberg puts his foot into it. It'll go deep, and it'll be Miles Johnson. It'll be in and out of his hands, and he'll need to take the touchback. We have yet to see RG2 running their first and 10 for 25. 36 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. We'll go back to Beth at the end of the quarter.
You know, Gazal, as much as we've been talking how great the special teams are here for Santa Monica College, at practice I have noticed that several times on practicing, fielding the kickoff, they aren't very crisp at.
Really?
Yes, I've actually noticed that quite a bit.
Ralph Gordon, one of the league leaders in kickoff return average this year, averaging nearly 28 yards a pop, but he wasn't the one to mishandle that one. Medina behind center will turn and hand the ball off to the aforementioned Miles Johnson up the gut for a couple of yards.
That hole completely closed out for him.
So Johnson now with 4 carries for 23 yards on the game. Second down and 7 upcoming. We'll tick down to the end of the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, we will have Beth Haggerty for you, and she'll kind of break it down. 7-7, the Corsairs and the Vaqueros tied up. The Corsairs give up their first point since September 29th against Glendale. And Medina will stand behind center and let the first quarter tick off. Let's go down to the sideline.
At the end of the first quarter, we have it all tied up 7-7. Corsairs have 1 TD on defense, and Santa Barbara just put it in the end zone to tie it all up. On this nice, hot day for Santa Monica's homecoming, we have a great crowd. We have the cheerleaders going, and let's just hope that the Corsairs
also
can get the victory they want in the end.
Okay, all right.
Let's toss it back upstairs and see what's going on for the second quarter.
Well, thanks, Beth. Appreciate it. Beth Haggerty, our sideline reporter, will be going to her quite a bit. Go to the well. 7-7 after the first quarter. Will, break it down for me. What's going on here?
Well, it's just looking like they're not getting the stops on defense on the short third down plays. It really comes down to the quarterback play of Santa Barbara. Their quarterback has been very poised in the pocket, very poised on the run, delivering the balls in stride to his receivers. They got to find a way to shut him down. They shut him down. That's the key for them to victory.
What was interesting is we were around the football offices this week, and it seemed like the coaching staff was a bit uneasy. There was sticky notes and tape all around, kind of imploring these guys to concentrate on the Santa Barbara game. Why do you think that was?
Well, they have 2 tough games coming up here. Their next 2 games are against L.A. Pierce, and they have Antelope Valley, who are both 4-0 in the conference, 6-1 overall.
Medina throws the out. It's incomplete. It'll bring up a third down. So classic makings of a trap game, I guess.
Absolutely.
Incomplete will bring up a 3rd and 7. And when Coach Lindheim came here, there wasn't the expectation of success for Santa Monica. With the conference championship last year, they want to make it 2 in a row. So all the players are on board. All the coaching staff is on board. And I was talking to them. I said, you know, if you guys don't make the playoffs, it'll be a successful season. And Coach Gift told me straight out, no, it will not. Medina behind center will take the snap out of the shotgun. Moving to his left, he's flushed out. He's getting a little bit of pressure. Flag thrown, could be a hold. He turns it upfield, and he'll be out of bounds to the 33, but I think it's all coming back, Will.
I'll tell you, Coach Lindheim, he's been head coach here since 2009. He's done pretty impressive since he took over. He started off 2009 as 3-7. He was 4-6 in 2010, 8-3 last year, winning the conference, and 6-1 in that conference.
They say the 3rd year is the indication of how a coach is really doing, and obviously in Coach Gift's 3rd year, the team won the conference. Their first conference win since 2003, and that indeed will be a hold. And so they're going to decline the penalty, and so the ball marked up at the 29. It's going to be a 4th down, and Santa Monica will punt.
That's an interesting decline of the penalty there. Watch for Santa Monica. They run at least 1 trick play a game, so this doesn't really look like the key spot for it, but just keep your eyes open on that.
Rhett Tillman, the freshman from Culver City, averages about 38 yards a kick. He's standing back at his own 17. He'll field it. And, oh, he nearly got that snuffed. Good play by Tillman. And he kicks the ball out, but it's fielded by Nelson. 25, outside of the 30, 35, and he's cut down there about the 36. What a play for Tillman to avert disaster, Will.
Absolutely. There was a missed call there. It looked like there was an illegal push in the back on number 8-3 that wasn't called.
But, I mean, Tillman, that's just grace under pressure. When you're a punter, you see somebody coming down the smokestack on you, you have a tendency to panic. Tillman did not panic there.
He had a nice, calm, cool, collective head down there. That's a hard situation to read. Most 9 out of 10 punters are going to get hit there. It was great awareness by him.
I mean, he's 6'1", 240. It's a little bit different for him, but still, you don't want to get hit if you don't have to. As Evans back out there for Santa Barbara. 1st and 10 from the 37, right up the middle. I believe that's Dennis, and he'll fall forward over the 40-yard line. Looks like about the 42, 43. You know, part of the reason he may have declined the penalty, meeting Coach Craig Baropoulos for Santa Barbara, is that it's a hot day today, and that Santa Monica defense has been out there quite a bit. Perhaps they're wilting here maybe a little bit in the heat.
I'll tell you, something that Santa Monica needs to do. Number 70, Stephen Pena, is starting for the first time today. They need to take advantage of that freshman starting.
Yeah, the normal player at that position for Santa Barbara was hurt as the handoff goes to the left side, up over the 45, over midfield, hurtling forward is Dennis. He's all the way down to the 45-yard line, and Santa Barbara running the ball well against SMC well.
He's just lowering that head and keeping them wheels moving.
Cassidy Lycan, the original starter at center for Santa Barbara, unable to play today, and Stephen Pena steps in. Pena, the freshman, coming out of Santa Barbara High School in Santa Barbara, and that's another first down. 1st and 10 from the 42, 13:36 remaining second quarter, 7-7 Santa Monica at Santa Barbara tied. And again, that's Dennis running hard, falling forward over the 40 to the 38. Another big chunk of yardage, 9 yards for Dennis on that one.
I'll tell you what, Santa Monica has to do a better job of covering up these gaps, or they're going to get diced for yard after yard on these runs.
Dennis came in averaging about 4 yards a pop, 72 carries for 286 yards. But over the last 3 games, he's wrested the starting job away from Jeff Walton, who's become more of a specialty player for Santa Barbara. Evans, play action. Looking deep over the middle, overthrown slightly, incomplete. Anthony Fullman, the intended receiver. Coverage on the play for Santa Monica from Aaron Rodgers, no D. The freshman from Hamilton.
That receiver makes that catch, that's a touchdown. Anthony Fullman makes that, and I'll tell you, that is a touchdown. He had the safety split right there.
Rodgers rotated over well late, a little bit overthrown by Evans, and that brings up a 3rd and 3. Evans out of the shotgun, single man in the backfield is Dennis. He's got Fullman split out to the near side. The man in the slot is Kyle Brown. Evans will just give to Dennis. Why not? 43, or excuse me, down to the 35. Looks like he'll be, if he doesn't have a first down, he'll be very close, and I think he's got it. And they're going to mark it at the 34, and the sticks will move up. 1st and 10, 36, excuse me, 36-yard line. They needed the 36, not the 34. Under 13 minutes to play. 1st and 10.
See, another good thing running the ball here early is going to do is going to open up the pass game for them late in the game if they need it.
I've been impressed with Santa Barbara. They've been driving the ball well against the Corsairs. Dennis again gashing the defense down to the 25, an 11-yard pickup, close to a first down.
And I'll tell you what, this all comes back from those play action fakes. Their quarterback is just, he's so poised out there. Even when he hands the ball off, he's still standing there, following through with his repetition.
I like his hand movement, his legerdemain with the football, because you can't tell he gives it up till the absolute last minute, and that has some of the defense held up.
Evans looks like the real deal here.
2nd and very short, so we got about 9 on that play. Evans with time, throwing to the corner, overthrown. Pass intended for Perry Pipkin, just a straight corner out there.
So well-thrown ball, good route. It was just a bit too much for the receiver.
But again, 2nd and 1, that's a perfect play to call right there, Will.
Yes, it is. You still have that short little run you can do. You can bootleg it. With this quarterback, your options are endless.
Dennis on this drive has carried the ball 4 times for 35 yards. Evans turns and hands to Dennis, running right, and he'll be bottled up there. What a hit from up top. Ben Brown grabbed hold of him, and coming over to clean off, Kawan Floyd, the freshman from Crenshaw.
I see Butter!
They call him Butter.
I wonder how he got that nickname.
They're marking it. If you listen to our PA announcer, the ball will move up because the Corsairs were offside.
Again, the Corsairs are shooting themselves in the foot.
A key pass interference penalty on the first drive. That didn't turn into any points for Santa Barbara. But the last two, the face mask helped that previous drive for Santa Barbara get in the end zone, and now a key offside penalty on a third down play, and the ball moves to the 22. First and 10, 20 from the 22. Under 12 minutes to play, second quarter, 7-7. Corsairs Vaqueros tied. Evans to pass. He's being flushed. He'll throw the ball. He's got a man, but can't hit him. Incomplete pass intended for Garrett Tinlin, the tight end.
I will say this, Evans has had time in the pocket, and he has missed some key receivers here.
He has.
Say what you will about his poise, because he is poised, but he's got to get those passes where they need to be.
George Rowan, Jose Gomez, Jorge Lazaro, and Wade Norberg, along with Stephen Pena, the offensive line for Santa Barbara, doing a tremendous job here in the first half of this one. Second and 10 from the 22 for the Vaqueros. We're all knotted at 7.
Their pass protection has been outstanding.
Evans awaits the snap, will give the ball to Dennis, running left. Dennis to the 20, dancing up to the 20, after the 15, falls forward to about the 12.
That was a great cut back in right there. You got him an extra 3 yards on that cut back in.
6 carries now for Dennis on the drive for nearly 42 yards. 7 yards a pop. How'd you like that one?
One thing I've noticed about Dennis is he does not shy away from contact. He will run right into that player, put his head down and bulldoze.
Yeah, he reminds me of Miles Johnson. I mean, he's 5'8", he's shifty, good center of gravity, good balance.
They could be twins.
Third down and 1, under 11 minutes to play, second quarter. We're tied at 7. They play from the 13-yard line, and it'll be blown dead. Wait for that whistle. Santa Barbara takes a timeout. Their second trip into the red zone, or third trip into the red zone, they've scored once.
Slowly getting bits here and there, so. Yeah, just the first half.
And to be quite frank, it should be 10-0 here. Just stellar special teams by Santa Monica really bailed them out. That just shows you how key turnovers are. It could be 10-0. It's 7-7 right now, all because of turnovers.
You know, and you're right. Really, the Vaqueros have kind of taken this game to the Corsairs here this afternoon. If not for that one big play on special teams, as you mentioned, we're looking at a 10-0 deficit for Santa Monica. The good thing is, from the Corsair side, is you go into the locker room and you'll make some adjustments at the half. But the other thing is also, with a team like Santa Barbara, they come in 3-4, 2-2 on the year. Santa Monica, they're defending a league championship. They're 6-1. You don't want to let another team like Santa Barbara, who's not as good as you, and that's no disrespect to Santa Barbara, they're playing really well, but Corsairs defending champions, you don't want to let them stick around.
I'm a true baller.
And I'll tell you what, Santa Barbara, they look hungry.
Let's take it to the court.
They missed the subway on the way in? No kidding. Third and short coming from the 13. Here we go. Evans behind center, no shotgun this time. Man in motion, running towards him. Long count, turn, and they'll give the ball to the tailback, Dennis, running left. 10, tackled from behind, 5, leans forward. That's Floyd, who drops him at the 3. And looks like Floyd may be shaken up.
That's what you got to do. You just got to keep moving those feet. And if you can see those short little stuttery steps, he's just driving away, picking up another 4 yards after contact.
They'll mark him down at the 2. It'll be first and goal Santa Barbara. They can take the lead here for the first time in this one as we tick down under 11 minutes to play here in the second quarter, Will.
I'll tell you what I like about Dennis, he can hit it inside, he can hit it outside, he can cut it back in, he can cut it out. He can do it all.
Unofficially, I got him at 44 yards on 7 carries on this drive. They've covered about 52 yards here. Turn, give to Dennis. Dennis hit initially, but continues to drive forward. Did he get in? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Santa Barbara, 13-7.
San Mona's got to be asking themselves, what's going on here? After not giving up a touchdown in 2 consecutive games, they've given up 2 consecutive touchdowns in 2 consecutive quarters.
We're going to go down to Beth when we have an opportunity, but we got the extra point upcoming here. So they come out in a swinging gate sort of formation. Perhaps they'll go for 2, but the kicker is on, so they're just going to shift back into a normal formation and snap it back.
I like to put points on the board. I'm a freshman. Eric?
So Beth looking for the cameraman. We'll bring you the extra point here. Marcus Norberg, 16 of 20 on PATs on the season. Snap is back, hold is down, kick is up, and it is good. It is 14-7.
You got to watch the extracurricular out there. There was no call on the play, but you got to watch the extracurricular activities.
Let's go down to Beth.
Corsairs are feeling the heat, as everybody is out here. They just went down 14-7. Kevin Dennis put it in the end zone. And now we're on to the second half.
Thank you, Beth. We have a player down on the field for Santa Monica. It looks like number 30 or 48. I don't want to speculate.
40, I think it's 40.
Just keep pushing, keep pushing. We're going to break one right here.
Alejandro Macias, it looks like, is the player down on the play.
Just keep pushing.
So we have an injury for Santa Barbara. The Corsairs will get the ball back, though, Will. Hopefully he'll be okay. We'll bring you the update when we can get information. What do the offense need to do for Santa Monica here? Put together a drive, 10-16 left. Still very early. They're down a touchdown.
Well, luckily for the Corsairs, it's still early. You're only down a touchdown, so pretty much you're going to do what you've been doing. You're going to keep your game plan. You're going to run the ball. You're going to play some play action. You have to hit the run to hit your pass. So they need to keep running the ball, work the play action, and just take what the defense gives you. It's no concern to rush or to get out of your game plan yet.
And I'll tell you what, if you're Coach Gifford Lindheim, this may be a little bit of a blessing in disguise. Going into the final 2 games of the year against the teams you're fighting with for first place, you get a little bit of a dogfight here against Santa Barbara. And again, it is still early. How many times have we seen a game like this develop early, then all of a sudden the favorite rushes out, and before you know it, it's 35-14. But the key is really, they were preaching all week 1 game at a time. Now you got to even reduce that down. Just the next drive, next play. Let's compete. Let's just finish each play.
Well, it's not always easy when you're the hunted.
No, it's not. You're absolutely right. So Andy Force, the player being helped off the field for Santa Monica. He's a freshman from Caldwell, Idaho, and one of the out-of-state players coming to Santa Barbara. And, we're talking to Craig Moropoulos before the game. He's got a lot of out-of-state players. He played a little coy with us. He just kind of repeated the CCCAA guidelines that, I can't talk to anybody unless they talk to me. However, you have to think recruitment, there's a little bit of recruitment done. Come to Santa Barbara, play football by the beach. All right, let's go to the sideline to Beth.
Corsairs are feeling the heat, as everyone else is out here, and the defense is not performing how they're used to. In the middle of the second quarter, they're down by 1 touchdown. It's 14-7 Santa Barbara, and the defense is looking to turn it around in the rest of the second quarter.
Thank you, Beth. We're about to kick off, or we're not, but Santa Barbara is.
Such a weird formation they have on their kickoffs, but it really does work for them.
Into the corner, Miles Johnson will let it roll over the sideline. It'll be a penalty, and Santa Monica will get excellent field position. So Johnson, discretion, the better part of valor there, didn't pick up the ball, and they'll get an advantageous spot.
It's a smart football move by Johnson there to not pick up that ball. A lot of young players would pick that up, not realizing the situation.
All right, Will Pollock, I'm going to give you the reins. I'm going to make you the offensive coordinator for Santa Monica. How do you come out on this drive? What's the first play you run?
I run the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. It's early. You don't need to throw the ball. You're the better team on here, the better formation on here.
10-16 to play second quarter, 14-7. Santa Barbara leads Santa Monica. Slight upset developing here. The Corsairs come in, having won their last 6 games, their last 10 conference games. That 10-game winning streak actually started with a win against Santa Barbara last season. Medina out of the shotgun, takes the snap. He's got time. He's going to throw to the numbers. Short-hopped, incomplete pass intended for Reggie Mitchell.
And Medina got hit on that play, too.
So Medina a little bit shaky here in the early going, Will, and he's kind of the pulse of that offense. Come into the game throwing for 1,458 yards, 17 TDs against 2 picks, completes 56% of his passes on the year.
Yeah, actually, just last week he set a career record, throwing off his 48th touchdown pass of his career.
Medina takes the snap. He's got some time. He's going to sling it. Complete to Mitchell. That same play in the seam. 45, 50, staying on his feet. He'll get into Santa Barbara territory. Good job of running after the catch by Reggie Mitchell.
Great second effort there. Mitchell took that first hit. He turned off of it and powered forward for another 5 or 6 yards.
17-yard pickup all told. The sticks will move up First and 10, they're going to say actually make it 15. They're going to spot it at the 50. Midfield, Medina, first and 10 out of the shotgun for Santa Monica. Hand the ball off inside, running up inside for the Corsairs. It's not Johnson, it is number 3, Aaron Jones, a sophomore from Venice, and Jones picks up about 3.
Another reason for the run is it helps you control the clock. Clock management is important for them to keep control of.
Second down, and let's call it 8 out of the shotgun. Works Medina. Takes the snap. He's under pressure. He gets rid of it. He's going to complete the ball, and that's complete to Ralph Gordon. RG2 as they call him, and he's tackled just outside the 40. Nice job by Gordon. Come back to that football well.
I'll tell you what, Gordon made a broken play look magnificent. We have another player down on the field here, Gazal.
They're going to spot the ball at the 41, so the Corsairs need the 40 for the first down. So let's call that a 6-yard gain, and it'll be a third down coming up and another injury on the field. And we're kind of shielded from the player. The training staff out for Santa Barbara. We don't want to speculate on that, but in any event, the Corsairs now finally a couple of completions in a row. The 17-yard strike to Mitchell. They ran with Jones, and then Gordon with the 8-yard catch. Nice job again by him coming back to the football. How important is that for a receiver when the quarterback is in a little bit of trouble? How much help do they need to give?
Well, a receiver needs to notice when his quarterback's in trouble. If you're covered, you got to continue to run a route. You have to run back to your quarterback. You have to get open for him. You can't leave your quarterback out to dry, just like your quarterback can't leave you out to dry.
Injured player leaving the field is Thomas Borchard, sophomore out of Princeton, New Jersey. So another Jersey boy hurt. He's getting help off the field, and he'll be tended to on the sideline. Santa Barbara already short one player. One of their leading tacklers, Joel Medina, a sophomore from Santa Barbara, unable to play today. So the linebacking core depleted for the Vaqueros. 9:08 to play in the second quarter, 14-7. Santa Monica trails, but they're driving here, 3rd and 1 on this play. Medina behind center will take the snap, turn, and give to Miles Johnson, and he's met by a convoy of tacklers in the backfield.
Oh, he was just eaten up.
Alexi Nystrom knifes through and then gets help from the leading tackler for Santa Barbara, Morgan Nevin.
I'll tell you what, the Santa Barbara defense has really stepped it up. They got great penetration there on that play, bringing up a 4th down. Watch out for the fake in this situation. This is the perfect position for a fake.
So a 1-yard loss on the play. They're going to call it 4th and 2. 8:29 to play in the second quarter. And Coach Gifford Lindheim, who coordinates the special teams, he likes to gamble a little bit. So let's see. The up man is the backup quarterback for SMC, so perhaps something going on here. Backup quarterback for SMC is Michael Miller. And he does get it. Good call, Will Polick. Wide open is Ralph Gordon for the first down at the 32-yard line.
What a pass. Great presence, great throw. It's got to be nice to have a backup quarterback that can come in and do that for you.
Michael Miller, expected to be the starter next year after Alfonso Medina graduates, completes that pass.
He looks a little shaken up out there.
It's all going to come back, though. False start called on Santa Monica.
Again, the penalties are killing the Corsairs.
Miller, 6'6", 220-pounder out of Valor Christian. And he's a little shaken up, as you mentioned, and now they will have to punt. 4th and 7.
Trips right, pin.
Wow. Wipes out the first down play.
Treat everybody like to come. Let's go.
They're keeping Miller out there, though. I don't think this will be a fake, but you never know.
No false start. This guy has no idea, too.
4th and 7. They'll slap it back to Tillman. He will pump the ball. Good kick. Signaling fair catch is Mitch Nelson. The ball's still alive. It'll roll into the end zone for the touchback.
He should have been sitting at the goal line. Best guy in the team.
Tell you what, you got to keep your feet moving. He very easily could have got to that ball, but he stopped moving his feet.
The ball comes out to the 20-yard line. And now the Vaqueros in a position where they could really put some distance between themselves and the Corsairs. They already lead this one 14-7. 7:43 remain in the second quarter. And Santa Monica had come in, candidly, red hot. They'd won their last 6 in a row. Their last 2 games they'd won by a combined score of 85-0. They hadn't given up a point in October, and the Vaqueros have already hung 14 on the board, and we're not even half. We're about halfway through the second quarter.
This is not the way I thought this game was going to go.
Evans throwing to the seam, and they got away with one there. I thought that was maybe some illegal contact on Santa Monica, but it'll fall incomplete, no flag.
That ball was just a little bit out front again. Where he's selling the play action and the throwing on the run, from inside the pocket, he's been a little off.
There was some hand fighting there on the outside. DeJuan Butler, the freshman from Trafton there. Good job being physical. And now we'll get another flag on Santa Monica. Busting through that left side of that line.
I think the offensive line might have jumped on that one. Oh, nope, I'm wrong.
Call goes on the defense.
They are playing very undisciplined football here today on defense.
Adam Herrera looked like he was one of the guys that jumped on the left side of that defensive line, along with Deontay Mosley, who's checked in along with Dalian Scott. 2nd and 5 upcoming for Santa Barbara, and you like how Jared Evans has stood in against the pressure. Well, he's behind center now. He'll turn and give the ball off to Dennis. Dennis, middle of the line, collapses around him. They bring him down. Looks like Marque Derrico, the freshman from Tafton, on that hit as well.
Coming into today's game, they've only had 53 penalties on them. They've already had quite a few today.
Santa Monica 2nd overall in yardage defense, 1st in points allowed in American Pacific. So Santa Barbara driving against a fairly good defense. 3rd down. Here's a big play for SMC. Evans, play action, throwing right. Overthrows the intended receiver, Mike Peterson there, the Dane. Something rotten in Denmark, meaning it's 4th down.
Again, I go back to Evans has to hit his receiver there. He's thrown great on the run. He's done great with the play action. He's done great with the run. But he's not making those passes from inside the pocket. He's got to step up in the pocket and hit his receiver.
Here's what's interesting about Evans. It seems when he's got a tight window to throw, he throws it at the tight window. He had all kinds of space there, and he couldn't get the ball to the receiver.
He had all day there. There's been no pressure. Santa Monica's had no pressure on him.
Horberg back to kick it away. Take the snap. He'll kick it. Back to receive is Ralph Gordon II. The ball bounces, again bouncing inside the 35. It'll be down at about the 30-yard line. And that's where 29, let's call it, and that's where Santa Monica will start.
It's a nice bounce for Santa Barbara right there. Not a great kick, but they made up for it in the 10-yard bounce there.
1st and 10 from the 29, 6:45 to play. They're going to mark it to 30, so let's call it officially the 30. 6:45 to play in the second quarter. So if you're Santa Monica, put together a drive here, put it in the end zone, go to the locker room tied at 14. You're not particularly happy, but it's better than the other alternative.
Well, it's looking like Santa Barbara kicking and deferring for the second half could really work out for them. With the time on the clock, it's looking like they could end the quarter with the ball and get the third quarter with the ball.
Medina to the line of scrimmage. 4 receivers in the formation. The lone man in the backfield with him is Aaron Jones. Miles Johnson in the slot. They'll hand to Jones, and we saw it before anybody, and Morgan Nevin saw it before us because he'll cow Jones under for about a 5-yard loss.
That penetration by Santa Barbara, it's continuous. This Santa Monica line has had no answer for Santa Barbara's defensive line.
They mark it back to the 23.5-yard line, so a 6.5-yard loss. Nevin, the freshman from Truckee High School in Truckee, California. A number of players out of Truckee. It's kind of eastbound on Route 80. It's past the Donner Trail up in the Sierra Nevadas. 2nd and 16 upcoming for Santa Monica, and Medina back behind center will work from the shotgun.
Player in motion.
Medina takes the snap. He's got pressure. Nice little under screen thrown to Reggie Mitchell. Gets to the outside up to the 30-32. And he's over the original line of scrimmage. Will bring up about a 3rd and 8. Maybe a 7-8-yard completion.
Even though they find themselves down 14-7, time ticking away in the second quarter, they need to stick with their game plan. Stay with the run, run.
Sure.
Make the run, work your pass.
Yeah, no time to panic. Still plenty of time. 5.5 to play second quarter. 3rd and 7 upcoming. Medina having a chat in the backfield with Eric Kyle, and now he'll take the snap. 4 receivers in the formation for Santa Monica. Rolling to the left again with pressure. He'll throw. They give him the completion. It was at the sticks, and they said it is a completion and a first down. That's your man, Dominic Barrera.
Great rollout.
Check it. That was Miles Johnson.
Great rollout by Medina there to avoid the pressure. This offensive line, quite frankly, needs to step it up.
First down, Santa Monica to the 41. So an 8-yard completion, good enough for the first down, and Medina takes the snap. Looking deep, now nothing there. Now he'll have to tuck it under and run 40. Gets up to the 45. He's to midfield. He'll go out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. Nice job by Medina, picking up about 13 yards on that one.
Great pocket awareness to feel that pressure before it gets to you. Step up in the pocket, don't see anything. Cut to the edge and run up the field.
Medina's run number's not that great, but a lot of that factors in some kneel downs for him as well. Statistically, obviously, he's pretty fleet of foot.
That's the oldest trick in the book. Tell him. Make him bump into you.
47-yard line, 1st and 10, Santa Monica. Under 5 minutes to play, second quarter, 14-7, Santa Barbara leads. Toss to the right side, running to the right. That's Eric Kyle getting around the edge, up to the 44, let's call it. Maybe a modest gain on the play, that 3 yards.
He's got to keep pounding the ball, pounding the ball, pounding the ball.
You know, and I agree with you 100%. It's too early in the game to abandon the run. I understand Santa Monica has an explosive passing game, but Gifford Lindheim is all about balance. He believes in that balance on offense. 2nd and 7 from the 44 for the Corsairs. Running off in motion is Kyle. Snap to Medina. He's got time. He'll put it deep. He's got Gordon. Nice diving catch!
What a
touchdown, Corsair! No, they're going to say he was down at the 1.
He came down at about the 2-yard line. Had he stayed on his feet, that is a touchdown. What a touch pass by Medina.
Well, when Gordon graduates, if he doesn't have a job or a scholarship lined up, there's always room in the circus. What an acrobatic catch there.
Absolutely. He's looking like some of those elite wide receivers with a passer at SMC.
So the completion for 31 yards down to the 2-yard line. 1st and goal, Santa Monica. And just like that, with a flick of the wrist, Medina puts them right on the doorstep.
Look for a run right up the hole here from Johnson.
Miles elevates. No signal as of yet. And it looks like he's just short. Well, Johnson got off the ground, tried to dive into the end zone. He'll be stopped just short. 3:25 and ticking to play in the second quarter, 14-7. The Corsairs trail, but they're knocking on the door here. 2nd and goal inside the 1.
I say you go ahead and you run that ball again. If you don't get in, at least you keep the clock running. Then you can run a boot or a boot on 3rd down if you don't get in here on 2nd.
Medina will take the direct snap. Turn and give the ball. Miles with a little stutter step, a little juke, and this time he is in. Touchdown, Corsairs.
What a cut by Johnson, and this Santa Monica College offense is back alive.
Drive started back on their own 20. They navigated 80 yards on that play to score the touchdown and make it 14-13. We'll have the extra point, and then we'll go down to Beth Haggerty.
Hit the biggest one.
Jose Esquivel on to attempt the PAT. He's 1 for 1 today, 34 of 40 on the season. Michael Miller with the hold. Snap is back, hold is down, kick is up. We're tied at 14. Let's go down to Beth.
Alfonso Medina gave the Corsairs the spark that they needed for the first down run, and then a huge pass play to Ralph Ford to tie up the game 14-14. So we have about 3 minutes left in the second quarter, and we'll see if they can give themselves a little breathing room before half. Now let's toss it back upstairs to the boys.
Thanks, Beth. 14-14, 3 minutes to play in the second quarter. Jose Esquivel tees it up, and it's time for the D to mark it up.
Absolutely. I don't know if you just heard that comment on the side from one of the fans, but this defense, it is time for you to step up.
Esquivel will put his foot into it, back deep to receive for Santa Barbara. Kyle Brown back there along with Stephen Jerome.
He's going to take it out.
Going to take it out on the right side up to the 20, the 24. where the ball carrier is brought down, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Santa Barbara from the 24-yard line.
Yeah, he got a little bit of more than, he got about 3 yards more than he would have got a touchback there, but he also took some time off his clock for his team. I would prefer a kneel down there to serve some of that clock.
Yeah, is it worth, was the 7 seconds worth the 3 yards? We'll find out.
Don't let you.
So what I've noticed about the defense for SMC is a lot more rotation going on than usual with the heat today. Homecoming here at SMC, we're all knotted at 14, 2:53 to play, second quarter. Jared Evans behind center will get a whistle. Timeout, Santa Monica.
They got that timeout just in time. They were not prepared. That was a broken play for Santa Monica defense.
How does that happen out of the kickoff? Aren't the personnel guys already stacked up?
Well, they should be. It's just different formations and players not understanding what they're supposed to do. You get caught up in the moment. It happens, but it shouldn't happen. To go back off of the last offensive play, Santa Monica may have scored a little bit too quick. They left a pretty good amount of time on the clock here for Santa Barbara, who also get the ball back here in the second half.
It all depends on what happens. You got 2 timeouts remaining. If SMC can stop Santa Barbara and force them to punt it back to them, Santa Monica with that quick strike offense, as we saw with Ralph Gordon on that long night, the beautiful catch from Alfonso Medina. Maybe they can put some more points on the board.
Let's hope the defense can step up and make that happen.
Santa Barbara Vaqueros came in 3-4, 2-2 in conference play. They've lost their last 2 games. They lost 20-13 to Antelope Valley on the 12th of October, and then L.A. Pierce beat them on the 19th, 39-28, outscoring them 22-0 in the fourth quarter. We'll get back to that in a little bit. Evans takes the snap, turns and hands to Dennis, running right. Surging forward towards the 30, 7-yard pickup on first down.
He's just trucking away. L.A. Pierce is actually what Santa Monica College has next week, a tough conference battle.
Well, their final 2 games, it's Pierce and Antelope Valley, and they're both 4-0, correct?
Yes, 6-1 overall, 4-0 in the conference.
2nd and 3 upcoming. Evans with the snap. Hand the ball off to the first man behind him, and that'll be close. Actually, maybe got back to the original line of scrimmage.
I don't get what Santa Barbara's doing here. You have more than enough time on the clock to try to pad this lead. This is a scary offense.
Walton with a yard on the play, the 5'10 freshman from Palisades. LA product. Couple of LA kids on the roster for Santa Barbara. 3rd down and short upcoming, and another whistle. I think this time's on Santa Barbara. Yes. That is a false start, and that's a costly penalty for Santa Barbara on 3rd and 2, Will.
Yeah, it was a 3rd and short, which now turns to a 3rd and long. Again, it always comes down to penalties. Penalties, they disrupt drives like nothing else.
Back to the 26, the ball goes. On the year, Santa Barbara 37 of 101 on 3rd down, just under 37%. They've had fairly good success today. They're 3 of their first 7 on 3rd down, but a couple of those aided by penalties. Evans takes the snap, turns, play action. He's looking deep on 3rd down. Got a man over the middle, incomplete. That pass intended for Perry Pipkin, the freshman from Seattle, Washington. Double coverage down the field for the Corsairs.
No flag on the play.
Rico Wright was over there. He got help from Kawan Ford and Jelani Williams.
Looked like there could have been a little contact there, but not enough for the ref.
So here we go, Will. 2 timeouts left for the Corsairs, 1:38. Ralph Gordon, the second, RG2, back at about his 40-yard line to receive the punt. It's homecoming here at SMC. Gonzalez on, Will Polig with you. We have Beth Haggerty down on the sideline. It's 14-14. And Santa Barbara will kick the ball away to Santa Monica, allowing the Corsairs one last drive here on the first half.
I'm not a big fan of defense stepping up like that. That's how people get driven off sides.
Fair catch. RG2 calls for the fair catch at the 44. Good field position for Santa Monica, Will.
With 1:32 seconds left at midfield, Santa Monica they have a good possibility of taking the lead here.
Place kicker is Esquivel. His long field goal on the year, Will. He's 5 of 6. His longest field goal is 27 yards. That means they need to get to about the 10.
Talking to a special teams coach, they said that they trust him to kick up the 42 yards. So he could kick up the 42.
And it's a clear day. There's not really much of a wind here. So yeah, if they get to the 25, perhaps Esquivel will get the opportunity. I guess that's one of the downsides of working with a high-scoring offense is if you're a field goal kicker, they're not content to take field goals. They go for those touchdowns.
Well, at least you got a lot of spot extra points.
1st and 10 from the 44. Looking deep down the right side. Mitchell catches the ball complete down to the 22. In single coverage on the outside.
What a catch and throw. Medina is showing you right now why he's the best player on this team. Quite frankly, possibly the best player on this field.
So they're going to mark the ball at the 23. 33-yard completion.
As good as Santa Barbara's quarterback Evans is doing this game, in crunch situations, Alfonso Medina just knows how to step up his game.
What a nice, Mitchell's 3rd catch on the game. He's got 51 yards receiving.
Don't take a picture of me flipping you off. Don't do that.
Medina, play action. He's under pressure. He'll step up. He'll throw. He'll lob it deep. Barrera open. Just stepped out before the touchdown. He knocked the pylon over, but he's down at the 1. What a play there.
Enough can't be said about Alfonso Medina on that play. He did everything right, from his drop back to his reading of the receivers to seeing the coverage to the touch pass. Everything was perfect.
Now, and you've played the game, Will, so you can attest to this. It's hard to throw on the run.
Yes.
Even harder to throw on the run with pressure with that kind of touch.
Well, the throw with accuracy.
That's a Division I throw.
That absolutely Division I throw. And he's been scouted by Division I teams.
Medina hands the ball off to Johnson, leaning forward. No indication as of yet that he got in, and now we will get the indication. Touchdown, Santa Monica. So Morocco's strategy backfires on him, and the Corsairs take the lead here with under a minute to go in the first half. We'll go down to Beth Hegarty in a moment after the extra point is kicked.
You know, I blame that touchdown on the head coach of Santa Barbara. You run the ball 2 times, and then you throw the ball on 3rd and long. It just doesn't make sense.
Esquivel on to attempt his 3rd PAT of the afternoon. He's 35 of 41 on the year, trying to make it 36 of 42 to give Santa Monica a 7-point lead out of the hold of Michael Miller. Snap back, hold down, kick is up, and it's good. And the Corsairs lead 21-14, under a minute to play first half.
You gotta wonder, as we were saying earlier, Santa Monica needs to stick to their game. You gotta wonder if Santa Barbara is starting to see Santa Monica offense coming alive, what they're going to do.
That's the whole thing, is that the defense and the ball control was working. But look at that. Santa Monica got the ball with 1:38 to play, and they scored, and they left 58 seconds on the board. That's what Alfonso Medina does for you when he's standing behind center.
All while going 60 yards.
Teeing it up is Esquivel.
3 minutes left in the half. Corsairs cruised down the field in under 2 minutes and scored their 3rd touchdown of the day. So now they're up 21-14. Obviously, they've gotten in their groove. Something's starting to gel, and they're feeling what they need to feel to take this game, take the lead in the game into the half. Back to the Weaver Steelers.
They'll return it out of the end zone again. Running to the outside, juking at the 10. Ill-advised there. Good special teams play by Santa Monica. And the Sharks smell blood on the water.
Absolutely. That's 14 seconds taken off the clock there. And he's still 10 yards short of the 20-yard line. 14 seconds on those last 2 special teams plays by Santa Barbara, that was wasted.
That's what I understand is, on the previous drive, they ran the ball out, and then there was no sense of urgency. They just ran the ball into the line twice. If you're going to just run the clock out, why bother running it out of the end zone in the first place?
That's right. Well, you got to. How do you throw on 3rd down there? If you run on 1st and 2nd down, you run on 3rd down and you force them to call timeout.
The Corsairs have forced 21 turnovers on the year. They have a +10 ratio. The Vaqueros are at -7. This is a precarious part of the field when it comes to turnovers. Let's see what happens here as Evans takes the snap, rolling right. He's got time, and now he'll just tuck it under and run 15-20. Hit there, spun down at the 21.
You better watch that. He's a quarterback. He should be sliding there.
You mentioned Michael Vick, and that's kind of one of the problems is that Vick can't calm down that, that's one thing that they talk about with Washington with RG3. He's been very good about. He understands he needs to stay healthy.
Well, let's hope that Evans is more like RG3 than Vick.
1st and 10 from the 23, so 12-yard gain to Evans on that play. He'll take the snap. He'll quickly throw it. Little bubble screen to the outside, complete to Tyson Heller, who's back in the game. The big tight end rumbles forward for maybe 3, and it's a second down coming up, and it looks like we'll roll at the end of the second quarter here. I don't know if we'll get another playoff, Will.
It's looking like they may try to run one more. You got to think they may take a shot here.
10 seconds remain as we tick down towards the end of the first half. When the first half ends, we'll go back down to Beth Haggerty. She'll kind of put a bow on this first half of play. 21-14, Santa Monica leads, and they'll be content to let the half run out. 21-14 to score at the half. SMC leads Santa Barbara Community College. Thanks for watching us on SMC TV. Let's go down to the sideline to Beth Haggerty.
Coach Giff, game started a little slow for y'all. Probably not what you wanted, but they definitely picked it up in the second half of the second quarter. What do you think happened?
Yeah, we started off sluggishly for whatever reason. Fired up, it's homecoming, trying to play well. So we got it going with some big plays in the second quarter. I think we're going to have a great second half here.
What are you going to tell the guys when you get in the locker room to make sure that they keep a full head of steam for the whole second half?
Oh, we got to do what we do. So we come out, we play with emotion, we play hard, play discipline, play our brand of football. That's why we've been successful. So we got to do what we do.
Very good. Get to it. Best of luck.
If I had a motto, it would just do whatever it takes to win. Just, giving my all, no regret. What motivates me is just wanting to do good for myself and help my team win. I just, that's the main thing, just winning.
So I really don't care, okay, what the score is, because I know what the score is and what is the score. Okay, and the first play of the second half is coming. Okay, and all I care about is us. And I know one thing, we gotta get better. He's an easy guy to coach. He's really steady, very coachable, very serious. And he goes out and he brings it every week. He's a high-level performer, and obviously he's broken a record for touchdown passes at Santa Monica College. And there's been a lot of really good ones who have been here. So having Alfonso has been a blessing, and I think he's developed over his time here, and we're really proud of him. He's an easy guy to coach.
This year, I just coming into the year, I felt like I've been a pretty good captain, and again, more by example. But I feel like I've been more talkative this year, and I think it's really helped out. Well, for myself, just to keep playing good, getting better and better every game, and as a team, just to keep winning. I want to win conference again, and we really want to get this bowl in.
You should be picking me up.
21-14 the score at the half, and Santa Monica will kick to start the second half. They will kick the ball off to Santa Barbara. The Vaqueros won the toss and then elected to defer. Back deep to receive for Kyle Brown, along with Jacob Arnell, and Jose Esquivel will tee it up for Santa Monica. 21-14 to start the second half. Esquivel puts his foot into it. It'll go deep, and the ball will be fielded at the goal line by Brown. 5-10, moving to the left. Dive steps a tackle. Now he's juke steps, and he's cowed under at the 10-yard line. Again, good special teams play by the Corsairs. It'll be 1st and 10 from just around the 11, and a player is down, and a flag flies after the play. So there's an injured player on the field. It's number 87 for Santa Barbara, Spencer Wood, the sophomore wide receiver from Peachtree City, Georgia, down on the field. Let's sort out the penalty as well with the official.
Nope, number 82, Brandon Engel was on that tackle.
Personal foul on Santa Monica, so the Corsairs again, a penalty will benefit Santa Barbara City College. So let's kind of cap it. Santa Monica in the first half got their first touchdown on a special teams play, an 85-yard return of a block kick by Rico Wright, brought it back to make it 7-0, and then Santa Barbara countered. They tied the game with a touchdown to make it 7-7, a 5-yard run by the quarterback Evans. Then they went up on a 2-yard run by Dennis to make it 14-7. Then Santa Monica tied the game, and they went ahead to take the lead 21-14. They put the exclamation point on it late with 58 seconds left in the first half. A beautiful pass to get to the 1-yard line, and then Miles Johnson took it the last part of the way to make it 21-14. 14:51 to play third quarter, and here's the offense for Santa Barbara. Jared Evans, 6'4", 190-pound freshman at quarterback out of Philadelphia, will take the snap out of the shotgun. Tries to hand off, now crossed up a little bit, and he'll break a tackle, but now he'll be cowed under at about the 17, and that should be another flag. Coming in after the play was Marcus Manley. The initial contact on the play was Taylor McDaniel, who had him down, and then a convoy of tacklers came in for Santa Monica and knocked down Evans. So the ball all the way back to the 19. First down, they would need the 36. So 2nd and 17 upcoming for Santa Barbara. The Vaqueros came out with a solid game plan in that they wanted to play ball control against Santa Monica. It worked for a while, but 2 touchdowns late in the first half by the Corsairs, and they have the lead 21-14. Evans looking deep, and then throws the ball. He had nobody in that vicinity. He thought Stephen Pena's guard was a receiver trying to dump it off to a check down, and it's 3rd down and 18. And they're discussing now perhaps if that's going to be a grounding penalty. In defense of Evans, I don't know whether he threw it to avoid a sack or he just threw it because he thought 70 was a receiver. Maybe a receiver was supposed to be beyond the lineman there. Third down upcoming. They need the 36, do the Vaqueros, for a first down. They'll hand the ball off inside, and there'll be a flag. Walton coming across, take the ball away, and it's a false start. So Meropolis, thinking discretion the better part of valor, he's going to run the football and then just punt it away.
Check.
So they're going to mark the ball back to the 14-yard line. So 3rd and very long. They need to get to the 36, so officially 3rd and 22 upcoming for Santa Barbara.
The Santa Monica defense came out pretty hungry this second half.
Showing up in a bad mood, Will. Flying to the football. Evans out of the shotgun. He's got time. He'll throw to the middle. The ball is complete. It'll be well short of the first down, though. The completion to Kyle Brown, the freshman out of Scottsdale, Arizona, came into the game averaging 4 yards a rush and 12 yards a catch.
Santa Monica finally looks like they're starting to get a little bit of pressure on Evans here.
Yeah, they obviously dialed that up. Defensive coordinator Steve Garcia dialing up the pressure. He was Gifford Lindheim's boss, and now he's working for Coach Giff here at SMC. 4th and 8. Santa Barbara will punt the football away to SMC. Back deep to receive for the Corsairs is Ralph Gordon. That's nearly blocked.
He might have got a piece of that, too.
Off the side of the foot, out of bounds. Maybe he did get a piece of it.
Great field position here for Santa Monica.
Aaron Thomas, the punter for Santa Barbara. And the first drive for Santa Monica in the second half will start on the Santa Barbara side of the field. 1st and 10 from the 42.
Alfonso Medina threw for 137 yards in that first half. And Miles Johnson had 8 carries for 29 yards and 2 touchdowns. Let's see if they can hold that up.
13-14 remaining in the third quarter. 21-14, the Corsairs lead. They're going to try to pile on to this lead. Excellent field position, and Medina clearly was feeling it in the second part of that first half. 4 receivers in the formation. The handoff to Johnson, eludes a tackle, steps up, stutter step, moving forward, but not much. A lot of movement and not much of a gain. Maybe a yard on the play.
I'll tell you what, not much is better than losing yards.
I'm with you on that one. 9 carries now for Johnson for 30 yards.
That was a nice cut to not lose yards.
Second down and 9. Medina throwing left. He's got Gordon. Good toe tap there at the 23. He's immediately tackled on the play by Olefi Adalbo, the sophomore from Beaumont, but a first down for the Corsairs.
Notice the timing of the receiver and quarterback here. The ball was out of Medina's hand before the receiver even made his cut to come back to the ball.
18-yard gain. First and 10 for the 23. Sorry, Will.
That looked like poetry.
Brown with an acrobatic catch in the first half and then a nice play to get open there. First and 10 from the 23 for the Corsairs. Pump fake, handoff, Johnson running right. 20, 15, he's down at the 15-yard line. Tackle on the play made by number 57 for Santa Barbara, Jacob Franco, the sophomore from Carpinteria High School.
It's really enjoyable to watch Miles Johnson run this football. The way he slashes through these tackles.
Second down and 2 from the 15 for Santa Monica. Medina, middle of the field, Gordon, touchdown Corsairs.
And that is how it's done. Ralph Gordon the second.
$15-yard touchdown pass from Medina to Gordon. And Gordon, man, he just gets open. Came in 398 yards receiving on the year and 5 touchdowns, make it 6 with that catch.
He hit him right there in the high slot. What a route.
Esquivel on for the PAT, and that is good. And very quickly, with 12:02 remaining here in the third quarter, the Corsairs quickly get a tally on the board. 20, more than a tally, a touchdown. They put 7 up, 28-14. They've now scored 21 unanswered points, Will.
What a turn of events. We were about 5 minutes ago in the second quarter talking about how Santa Barbara could take a commanding lead in this game, and all of a sudden, here come the Corsairs with a 21-point run to make it 28-14. This is winning football right here.
It's what you call a tipping point, to quote Malcolm Gladwell. I mean, it's 14-7. If the Vaqueros can matriculate the ball into the end zone, all of a sudden it's a 2-touchdown game, and maybe Santa Monica gets off their game plan. But you were absolutely right. The first thing you said is, hey, don't abandon the run, keep running the football. Santa Monica stuck with the game plan. Now they've scored the last 3 TDs. They lead at 28-14. It helps to have Alfonso Medina behind center too, though.
It's going to be interesting to see what Santa Barbara does to rebound from this.
12:02 to go, third quarter, 28-14. The Corsairs with the first score here in the second half, and Esquivel will kick it off. And we'll go down after the kickoff. We'll go down to Beth Haggerty. The return to the 15 to the 20, juking back inside 25, leading forward. Let's go down to Beth on the sideline.
They scored again to make it double their lead, 14-28. And Alfonso Medina is having a really good 20th birthday today. Keep an eye on him. Now let's take it back upstairs to the booth.
Well, thanks, Beth. Happy birthday, Alfonso. Corsair down on the field. Looks like Craig Lowe down there. 20th birthday, how about that?
Well, happy birthday.
October 27th, so turns 20 on 10/27/12. And a birthday present is a couple of touchdowns, so.
Man, really knows how to make me feel old.
Ralph Gordon with a 15-yard touchdown pass from Medina, and Medina seems to be easing into his rhythm here, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. He's so poised in the pocket. He does a great job of scanning receiver to receiver and hitting that open guy time and time again.
You know, it's interesting because if you were to describe Medina's demeanor behind center, it's almost lethargic, because he doesn't waste any motion. He's not one of these guys who cocks the arm. He just flicks the wrist and all of a sudden the ball is away, and Lowe's still down. It's obviously concern here. Nice homecoming crowd beneath us here on SMC TV. Gonzalez on Will Polig. We have Beth Haggerty down on the sideline, so hopefully He's getting some help, and he'll be helped off the field to a nice hand. The injured player on the field looks like 91 and not 61. We thought it was Matthew Bratwaite, the freshman for Santa Monica, defensive lineman on the special teams. So getting some help. And, you know, we talked with Coach Craig Moropoulos before the game. We talked with Gifford Lindheim this week a couple times. And, you know, week 8, this time of the year, everybody's banged up a little bit, Will.
I find it quite interesting that the offense hasn't made its way onto the field yet.
And now the Santa Barbara offense will take possession. 1st and 10 from the 26. They trail 28-14, and now they kind of need a score here.
Look for Santa Monica to continue the pressure that they had on in this first drive in the second half.
Evans, quickly throw. The ball is complete. Dancing around there is Steven Jerome before he's tackled. So a gain, a couple yards. It'll be 2nd and 7.
I know it's early in the second half, but it's looking like they're getting a little bit away from that play-action game they had going on.
Yeah, I'm surprised they've gone away. Unless Dennis is hurt, he was gashing the defense in the first half. Haven't gone back to him. 2nd and 7 from the 29. Evans behind center will take the shotgun snap. He'll run with it. A little bit of read option there. He's up over the 30. Will lean forward at 31-32, so call it a gain of 4. It'll be a 3rd down upcoming. Actually, they're going to mark it at 31, so give him a gain of 2.
You know, it's very rewarding to have a quarterback that can also run like they have in Evans. It brings a different dynamic to the game that's hard for defenses to read.
Well, he can do both, though. He's got a fairly good arm. When he has time, he can throw the ball. So you got to account for both things.
And he definitely throws better on the run than in the pocket.
Brown in the slot. Fullman split out to the near side. Evans is looking for Fullman through the hands of his tight end, Heller. Incomplete 4th down, and that's why Heller was sitting on the bench for a good part of the first half.
It just seems that Heller and Evans could not get on the same page.
4th and 5, and that'll bring out the punter, Aaron Thomas, the freshman from Dos Pueblos High School in the Santa Barbara area. Will, did I hear right? Are you heading down up to Santa Barbara after the game?
I believe I am heading up to Santa Barbara today after the game. Beautiful weather, Halloween weekend.
All right.
Hopefully we head up there with an SMC victory.
Thomas waiting for the snap. He'll punt the ball from about the 20, puts his foot into it. It'll be a short kick. Gordon closing in on it, but he'll let it bounce at about the 38. He'll field it at the 29 and try to return it. And now they're going to say no. They're going to say he cannot. They're going to blow it dead at the 28-yard line. So that's where Santa Monica will start it off.
To be honest, that benefits Santa Monica, that being called dead upon arrival. Oh, we have a flag on the play here.
Here, man, you want to speak something? Oh, it's like speaking thing? Yeah, it's to the... Where's it at?
Let's see what the penalty is as we sort it out here. So they're going to mark it closer to the 29.
I didn't see any penalty on this, so I'm interested to see what this is.
SMC, man.
And the offense back out there for Santa Monica. And now if you're the Corsairs, the more distance. Oh, delay a game. Did he not directly give the ball to the official? I don't know what that explanation would be. So it'll be marked back to the 24. The Corsairs will start from there, 1st and 10.
Very interesting.
Medina with a touchdown pass already here in the second half. 2 completions for 33 yards, both to Ralph Gordon, the second. Now the running outside is Gordon. Breaks a tackle out to the 30, 35-40. Juke cuts back inside. Second cut, he'll be dragged down from behind. The tackle made from behind by Colin Christian, and what a bit of running there. Great vision by RG the second.
Great run, absolutely great run. But with that said, Johnson should have took that to the house. He had the lane, he had the cut. Great defense. Great makeup speed there.
32-yard pickup for Gordon. Actually, 37-yard pickup. He's all the way to the 41.
The quarterback and running back ran into each other on that play, too, so it was kind of a broken play to start off.
Medina, seam route. Is that intercepted? It was. Intended for Barrera. They're going to say intercepted and a penalty flag on the play. Barrera was the receiver in the vicinity, and a nice diving pick there for Santa Barbara, so the turnover, but there is a flag on the play. That'll only be the 3rd interception. And they got to call defensive pass interference, and the Corsairs will keep the football.
I got to be honest here, Gasol. I didn't see any pass interference on that play.
Hey, you got to call it like you see it. I really didn't either, to be honest with you, but it may have been a hold or a clutch or a grab of the jersey. But in any event, it'll be a first down at the 30. So wipe off that. If you're scoring at home, wipe off the interception. And now Corsairs 1st and 10 from the 30.
Santa Monica is really benefiting from that call.
Medina behind center. Fakes the little bubble screen, hands the ball off to Johnson. He'll get about 3 right up the middle.
You know, I really enjoy that little fake bubble screen, Statue of Liberty type play. Misdirection there, it didn't really didn't add up too much there, but I can see them going back that play.
What if it's a Boise State thing? They're setting it up for something later.
Absolutely.
Right? They're showing it now, and they're going to do something later.
Maybe a little hook and ladder later.
2nd and 8 upcoming, so give Johnson 2 on that run. Under 10 minutes to play 3rd quarter, 28-14. Corner route, incomplete, overthrows Vickers just a bit, tangled up defensively with Olafemi Adalbo, the sophomore from Beaumont for Santa Barbara.
I really like how these referees, for the most part, are letting the wide receivers and corners battle for position.
I guess what they say is the rule is hand fighting is okay. If somebody clutches or grabs or pulls a jersey to gain an advantage, that's when they throw the flag. If they're just fighting with their hands, generally an official will let that go. 3rd down and 8 upcoming from the 28-yard line, call it. Medina from the shotgun, snap a little high. Again, that fake bubble screen to Gordon. Now he'll just throw it away. He had Miles Johnson in the vicinity, but he just grounded that one. And let's see if we'll get Esquivel with a chop to kick the field goal.
He's lucky to get called for intentional grounding there. It was really close to the line of scrimmage. I know if you threw it to the receiver, but it's got to pass the line of scrimmage. It was very close to that line.
He threw it into the ground. It just happened that Johnson was in the vicinity there. So that's probably why they didn't blow the whistle or throw the flag. Miles Johnson, they're going to go for it. No field goal team here, 4-down territory. So I guess they needed a couple more yards before they would trust Esquivel. 4th and 8 from the 28, and Santa Monica will go for it. 3 receivers on the right side. The man on the near side is Carzell Vickers. Johnson, the lone man on the backfield with Alfonso Medina. Medina takes the snap, looking right, throws complete to Mitchell, 25. He won't get the first down. Ball goes over to Santa Barbara. So no interception for the Vaqueros, but the ball goes over on downs.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that play. I'm not very upset about it. I mean, you could have kicked the field goal. You could have punted it. Either way, you're still up 2 touchdowns. You still have pretty good position on the field.
If you're not going to bring Esquivel on the field, though, I think going for it is the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you think maybe, you said, because I guess he told both you and I that his distance was 42. That would have been about a 44, 45-yard field goal. And here's Santa Barbara. Jared Evans back out there. Evans hands the ball off to Dennis. Good to see him again. And Santa Barbara is happy to see him too. They pile him up for about a yard loss.
Look at him swarm. They just ate him alive. It was like sharks in a feeding frenzy.
Steve Garcia, the defensive coordinator for Santa Monica, was getting into his players a little bit when I was out here watching practice on Wednesday, because they were getting a little bit spirited with each other. And he says, you know, I want the competition, but I don't want it to break down and get into a fight. And now his defenders are swarming like they were on practice Wednesday. Evans with the snap. Thought he had somebody, but now he'll pull the ball down and run. 20, 25, pointing for a block. 30, still on its feet. 35, out of bounds, about the 38. Pushed out of bounds there by Santa Monica. So Jarrett Evans dances up, and he got a first down. The sticks will move up for Santa Barbara, Will.
Yeah. Kevin Dennis having a little extracurricular conversation on the sidelines with Santa Monica. Well, one thing that Santa Barbara needs to do to help out their quarterback is they need to move the pocket for him. He seems much more poised to throw the ball on the move. If they can find a way to maybe move the pocket for maybe these passes he's missed on will come down.
1st and 10 from the 38. Evans throwing. It's picked off. That's Floyd. 40, 35, 30 out of bounds. And Santa Monica with the turnover. They're plus 10 on the year. Talk another one up. on the interception by Kawan Floyd.
And again, Evans throwing from in the pocket has not been on.
Kawan Floyd coming over, and they start right where they left off. They get the ball back on the 28-yard line, and Kawan Floyd, he's the freshman out of Crenshaw, and although only his first year with the program, will drawing a lot of attention.
What a play. He had the quarterback's eyes red the entire time.
And here's Medina bringing his team to the line of scrimmage. To the near side is Gordon. To the far side is Carzell Vickers. Fake the end around, looking deep. Mitchell in the seam. Touchdown, Santa Monica.
What a pass by Medina. He has done it again.
8:05 remaining in the third quarter. 28-yard strike from Alfonso Medina to Reggie Mitchell. It's like Tecmo Bowl out here.
It's like he's playing Madden. Like, it really is. He actually got recruited by Montana University, who actually was in the national championship a couple years ago. This kid, the sky's the limit for him.
He's so poor. You know, they don't recruit. Well, after the extra point, we'll go down to Beth real quick. Esquivel puts it through, and that makes it 35-14 with 8:05 remaining third quarter.
Santa Barbara, they don't look so fiery right now. They really need to step their game up. We have a flag on the play here.
So a face mask on Santa Barbara, so they'll assess that on the kickoff.
I'm interested to see if Coach from Santa Monica keeps the gas on the pedal or if they take it off a little bit and play a little time management.
I think they'll need to keep it on. I mean, they're going in the toughest part of their schedule, and that's the problem here is you obviously don't want to seem like you're running up the score, but you're playing two tough teams coming up, and these guys need reps.
Absolutely. You can't get better. Perfect practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, and that's what they need to use this as, just more practice.
Yeah. It's interesting because doing some high school games, these coaches now want their teams to be ready for the playoffs, the high school playoffs starting in a couple weeks. So there are a couple of blowout games where they left the starters in because you really have there's no going back, because in a couple of weeks you're going to be playing a playoff game and they need to be able to play the 4 quarters, and I'm sure that's the same conundrum right now that Gifford Lindheim is in. Obviously you don't want to get anybody hurt, but you can't have him play a half of football and then be ready next week to play in a game against a team that's 4-0.
When you do that, complacency sets in.
Esquivel will tee it up in midfield. He'll boom it deep. His kickoffs have been very effective today.
How far out of the end zone do you think this is going to go?
Onside kick. Ball loose. It'll be fielded by Santa Barbara. They'll get it. Not a bad risk.
Absolutely not, especially with Coach Lindheim. That's his spectacular. That's his expertise. Special teams, trick plays.
We'll go down to Beth Haggerty now. She is ready for us. Beth, what do you got?
Corsairs are in cruise control now after a big interception by Quan Floyd. They scored another 7. They're up now 35-14 in the middle of the third. But let's give you a little injury update. Number 91, Matthew Brotwhite, defensive lineman for the Corsairs, came out on a couple plays ago. His pads are off. He's on the bench. It looks like he's not coming back in. And we also have 2 players from the Vaqueros. 52, Thomas Borchette, linebacker. Yeah? No? And 2 players for the Vaqueros that have already come out of the game with injury. 52, Thomas Borchette, linebacker, and number 84, wide receiver Andy Forse, have both been sidelined for the rest of the game. Now we're going to take it back upstairs.
Jeff Walton with the run. He was stopped short. No gains. It'll be 2nd and 10 upcoming. Evans back behind center for Santa Barbara. Takes the snap, throwing to the near side. The ball's complete to Heller, and he's lit up immediately on the near side for Santa Monica. Wow, what a play there. The hit coming from the Corsairs out of the defensive backfield, the freshman from Washington, Dante Brown.
Santa Barbara needs to start hitting some more vertical attacks here. They're going too east to west on their passes.
And the Corsairs are laying in wait. The Corsairs kind of made an adjustment and figured it out. Steven Garcia, the defensive coordinator for Santa Monica. 3rd down and 9 upcoming. Here's Evans. He's being flushed out. He's being chased. He breaks a tackle. Now he'll throw the ball late. Tipped. And Kwan Floyd right there. The ball incomplete. Will bring up 4th down. Kwan Floyd and Anthony Fullman mixing it up. That's 6'2", 200, and 6'1", 190.
Santa Monica's front four is finally starting to get some pressure on Evans here, too. It's really starting to rattle him a little bit.
They must have picked up a wrinkle. Either they held off in the first half or they picked up a wrinkle at halftime. Because like you said, the pass rush has been night and day between the first and the second half. They were almost applying no pressure in the first half, and they've been constantly in Evans' grill here in the second half. Aaron Thomas back to punt for Santa Barbara, standing at his own 26. Back deep is RG2. Ralph Gordon, the second for Santa Monica.
He's a huge threat.
Punt is off. Gordon backs up. He'll field it about the 14. 15 gets outside, and he's submarine there. Good tackle on the play by Colin Christian, the freshman from Truckee, California.
That was a great open field tackle there.
How hard is that to do in a special team scenario with a guy like Gordon who's so shifty?
I'll tell you what, with feet like that, speed like that, that is a very hard tackle. It takes a lot of concentration, a lot of follow-through, a lot of hand-eye coordination to take that down. Great job by the special teams of Santa Barbara right there.
6:40 to play 3rd quarter, 35-14, the Corsairs lead. Corsairs fell behind, believe it or not. They were trailing 14-7, and they've reeled off the last 28 points of this one to lead at 35-14, well on their way to their 7th straight win this year. They would go to 5-0 in conference with a win here this afternoon. It's homecoming here at Santa Monica College. Medina behind center, Gordon in motion. They'll hand the ball off to Johnson running right. Miles over the 15 to about the 17 or 18-yard line, so give him 2 on that one.
They run some great misdirection plays, some fake plays. You have to be on your toes. They remind you quite a bit of Pittsburgh Steelers, how they used to play.
I know it's hard for you to say being a Philly guy,
Exactly.
but yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. You have multiple running backs who have different skill sets, and you kind of maximize the skill set of each guy.
Indeed.
Miles Johnson, the lone man in the backfield with Johnson, 3 receivers in the formation. RG2, Gordon in the slot, he'll come over. And now Medina will throw, seam route, Barrera the tight end with the catch, 25, leans forward, he's 6'5", he falls down all the way to the 29.
You see how Barrera just sat down in his slot there? Just slot down right in his formation, got hit with the ball, perfect.
I mean, that's classic tight end play.
Yes, it is.
You know, and the guy who bought it to the Patriots, you know, with Hernandez and Gronkowski was Bill O'Brien. He's now doing it over at Penn State.
Let's go Nittany Lions. Let's beat those Buckeyes.
Under 6 minutes to play 3rd quarter. Medina, 1st and 10 now from the 28, hands it to Johnson running outside. 30, a little bit of a juke there, cuts back inside 40, dragged down at about the 41-yard line. Tackle made on the play by Mitch Nelson for Santa Barbara.
There's something on that play that is not talked about a lot in football, but if you notice how he switched hands there, he never broke his body, never broke the 3 points of pressure. It's a lot of running backs will drop the ball there.
That's the grip of the football. The 3 points of pressure
yes.
is you don't fumble.
Absolutely flawless. He did it so perfectly, you barely even notice it.
Under 5.5 minutes to play 3rd quarter, 35-14. Another 1st down on that play, all the way up to the 41, about an 11-yard gain for Johnson. Medina throwing right. Incomplete. Somebody ran a bad pattern there. Picked off by Delancey Parham, the sophomore out of Oakland, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Santa Barbara at about the 40.
That is only his 3rd pick of the season.
What happened there is somebody was off on a route.
It looked like the wide receiver and quarterback had different routes that they thought was supposed to be ran. It's hard to say who was wrong, who was right, but normally it's the wide receiver that ran the wrong route.
I think the receiver I saw on that side ran out, and then Delancey Parham just stepped up into that open area and picked the ball off. So 3rd interception of the year. So one turn deserves another, and the turnover for Santa Monica here, and now Santa Barbara's offense will come back out. And again, they're delaying running out onto the field.
There's a flag on the play here, too.
Now, we had one interception already called back today. So let's see what the call is here.
Personal foul. Call against Santa Barbara.
So the ball moves all the way back to the 45. Santa Barbara will retain possession. They will have the football, and they'll run 1st and 10 from the 45-yard line, 55 yards to Pater. They trail 35-14. As nutty as it sounds, Will, if they can get a score here, this kind of settles the game down a little bit. They've been run off the last 28 points by Santa Monica. They need to get a score here, do the Vaqueros, if they want to stay in this game.
Hey, you're absolutely right. But they have to step up their game in the fourth quarter. They have not been very good in the fourth quarter this season, where Santa Monica College has been.
Here's Evans running to the 35, tackle there. Kawan Floyd in there getting help from behind as well.
Evans is lucky he didn't get that ball stripped. He better hold on that ball a little bit more tightly than he did there, because that defense had their hands in there. Had he stayed up a couple seconds longer, that ball might have been popped out.
DeJohn Mitchell, the freshman from Fairfax, also in pursuit on that play. All the way to the 33-yard line, 22-yard pickup for Evans. First down and 10, he'll hand the ball off. No, he'll keep it himself. Fake handoff to Dennis, he keeps the ball, and he'll fall down to the 31-yard line, about a 2-yard pickup for Jared Evans, about the length of his body, 6'4".
He really is pretty agile for his size. He's very elusive.
Tremendous athlete. Came out of West Catholic High School in Philadelphia. Of his junior and senior year, threw for over 3,000 yards, and then he actually got a scholarship offer at Towson. Stayed there for a year, did not play as a redshirt, and then decided to come out to Santa Barbara. Evans with the snap. Throw it middle of the field. Tipped. Is that picked? No. Rico Wright almost had it, and he's kind of dancing around, slapping his helmet because he thought he should have had that one.
I just don't know why Santa Barbara isn't making adjustments. He clearly cannot throw well from the pocket today. He's been throwing well on the run. Why aren't they shifting the pocket? Why aren't they moving the pocket for their player here? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Flag on the play. And you mentioned Santa Barbara has trouble in the fourth quarter. That's another reason why scoring here in the third quarter, at least getting 7 on the board, is so imperative for Craig Meropoulos' team.
Santa Barbara's been outscored 13-72 in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And Santa Monica has outscored their opponents 73-33.
Yeah, so that probability kind of tilts very much in the favor of the Corsairs. 35-14 is the score here. 4:18 to play in the third quarter. If you just joined us, Santa Barbara snapped a streak. The Corsairs had held teams scoreless in the month of October. The last score they gave up was back on September 28th, but they punched in a touchdown to take the lead 14-7. But since then, it's been all Santa Monica, 28 straight points for the Corsairs. They lead this one 35-14 on homecoming. Ghazal Hassan with you, along with Will Pollard. We have Beth Haggerty down on the sideline as well.
Santa Monica has to do a better job of not drawing these penalties. They played very undisciplined football today. They're very lucky to be up as much as they are right now with all these penalties called on them.
You know, homecoming, you know, your family and friends in the crowd, and you expect to be a little bit juiced at the beginning of the game. By this point, you'd think you'd want to be settled down. And, you know, and again, though, I'll tell you, in those offices, this was a game they were pointing at. The coaching staff, they didn't say it outwardly. They were very worried about this game.
You can tell at practice. Their practice was a little bit more fiery than it normally is.
Evans takes the snap, hands to Dennis. Dennis up the middle, running to the 20, still on his feet. Tackled there about the 17. So he'll get about an 8-yard pickup. It'll be second and maybe a long 2 or a short 3.
These two teams are pretty big rivals too. It's only about a 2-hour drive down to Santa Barbara, or up to Santa Barbara. My apologies.
They've split the last 4 meetings. The Corsairs won last year 33-9. Santa Barbara last year scored the first 9 points in the game, and then the Corsairs rattled off 33 in a row. That kind of holding the form here. They're going to give it 7, so second and 3. Here's the handoff. Dennis running left. He'll have the first down and more. He'll get inside the 15, down to about the 12. Actually closer to the 10. Wow.
He is so explosive once he has the ball in his hands. When he just lowers his shoulders, he's like a torpedo.
So they'll mark the ball down on the 10-yard line. So an 8-yard pickup there, it'll be first down. And as we tick down to 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter, this is the type of drive after the turnover that Santa Barbara needed. And Evans will get back behind center. Make it a 2-score game with a touchdown, do the Vaqueros. Here's the snap, hand the ball off to Dennis, running right, got a lot of room. Outside at the 5, to the 4, to the pylon. Did not get in, he's gonna be marked down at the 1.
You know what they say in hockey, the worst lead is 2. If they score here, they're right back in it. They're 2 possessions down if they score a touchdown here.
If you're Santa Barbara, you want to stay within, because You know, the whole thing is probably if you have to trade possessions with SMC, you won't catch up, but you want something crazy happens like what happened early. Santa Monica took the lead on a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. Those kinds of plays happen, and so knocking on the door now. First and goal from the 1 as we tick down to 3 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. 35-14 the Corsairs lead, but the Vaqueros on the doorstep. Full house backfield, turn in hand to Dixon. Excuse me, turn in hand to Dennis. Is he in? No indication as of yet. It looks like he was stopped just short. And he was. It'll be second and goal from the 1 here in the third quarter.
You got to think this is 4-down territory too, Gazal.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, absolutely, as you like to say. You think Jared Evans, you have him line up behind center and just sneak in behind the center?
Well, I don't necessarily know if I would do a quarterback sneak here. I would do a quarterback option draw probably would be the play that I would call. I mean, he's very tall. He's very athletic.
They try to tuck in behind the center, and you were right, well, it doesn't work. Santa Monica sitting on that play, it'll be third and goal.
He's too tall. He's too tall to be doing a quarterback sneak. He needs to take that in a shotgun, call hike, and do a quarterback option.
Plus, you get the backup center in there. Cassidy Lycan not playing. You got Stephen Pena in there, the freshman from Santa Barbara. He's a bigger player. He's 6'4", 270, but probably timing not as good as it was with the starting center. Third and goal upcoming, the clock ticking, and that's what hurts Santa Barbara. They've lost about a minute and a half here on the goal line. Throw to the back of the end zone, bad throw. That was behind Heller. Heller has had some drops today. That wasn't his fault, Will.
His quarterback is not doing him any favors today. Yet again, from inside the pocket, he is not hitting his receivers. He needs to slow his feet down, get his balance, and release the ball.
And I agree with you. On second down on that play, perhaps they should have run that boot. He's so effective running that boot to the right or the left.
This was going to be a huge stop for Santa Monica College if they get this stop.
All right, here we go. They're going for it. 35-14 SMC leads, fourth down and goal, and the Vaqueros going to try to punch it in here. The fullback is Peterson, the tailback is Dennis.
Watch the edge.
Evans takes the snap, turns and hands to Dennis, and he got in. No indication, now we get the indication. Touchdown Santa Barbara, 35-20 on that one.
That took them far too long to push that in there. That was just a blatantly wrong call on the second down.
Well, I don't know about wrong call on second down, but I do know that with a quarterback like Evans, you got to try to run a boot either on second or third. If you know you're gonna go for it on fourth down. Obviously, if you're kicking the field goal, then it's a different situation. So we got that swinging gate set up. They will kick the ball out of this formation. Don't be fooled. Marcus Horberg, their freshman kicker out of Stockholm, Sweden, is on the field, so he will kick this extra point. And once we kick it, are we going out of the field with Beth Haggerty? I believe we will. She's right next to the camera.
KOR is next.
Horberg 2 for 2 on PATs today, 17 of 21 on the season. Snap back, hold down, and it's good. 35-21, big touchdown for the Vaqueros. No good. Wow, he missed that. That could be a big point later on. I thought it was through.
Well, it's interesting because I was just about to ask if on the road against a team that is 6-1, 4-0 in the conference, if they're going to go tied up, I was going to ask, you think they're going to go for 2? Now they have to go for 2.
Right. Well, I'm a little different. I don't think you go for 2 unless you can tie it, because I've seen teams. I actually saw Mark Bellotti run Oregon out of a game trying to chase a lead with 2-point conversions. He went for 2 twos, missed them both, and then ended up scoring 2 late touchdowns. Instead of being 34-31, it was 34-29. They couldn't kick the field goal late. So unless you're within about 8 points, or you know you're going to need 2 scores or have a play.
Well, I guess that's why they call it a gamble.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone for 2 on that one, but obviously now that you missed, you may as well have, right?
Absolutely.
At the Division I level, you'd think those PATs are pretty much automatic. And here's the kickoff. Horberg puts the foot into it. Back deep to receive is Gordon. They kick it away from Gordon. The return being made for Santa Monica up to the 23. And that's where they'll start their offense. Noel Rankins, the freshman out of Narbonne High School, Harbor City product, on the return for SMC. And it'll be 1st and 10 at about the 24-yard line, and Medina runs back out. 35-20, Santa Monica leads Santa Barbara, a minute 30 left. This has been a good ball game, Will.
This has been a great game. The offenses started off slow for Santa Monica. Santa Barbara started off hot, but it really has switched. Since about 4 minutes left in the second quarter, it's been all Santa Monica College.
Medina behind center will work out of the snap. First and 10 from the 20 for a turn and give the ball to Johnson, dancing behind the line. Now he's up over the 25 to the 30, still on his feet, tackle number 33.
He just cuts so clean.
He really is. He's very nimble on his feet. Balance. Both running backs. Dennis, 5'8", 150. Johnson, 5'6", 175. They're both very shifty and they're very balanced. 8-yard gain up to the 33, so second and a short 2, almost second and 1. They need to get to the 34.
It's like he sees the hole before it's there.
Vision and balance are the 2 keys for running backs. Under a minute to play, third quarter, clock running. Gordon in motion. Medina turns and hands the ball to Johnson, squirts through there. He's going to have the first down up over the 35-yard line to about the 37.
He had to double clutch the ball there. I don't know if you saw that. He almost lost that ball. Great job to keep awareness of where the football is.
So they'll mark the ball at the 36 officially. So it'll be a 3-yard pickup and a first down. The sticks move up, and I believe the Corsairs will be content to let the quarter expire. They can't, actually. Only 15 seconds. They've got to run a play. Medina, very methodical, kind of slowly approaching the center like a gunslinger almost, which is what he is. Here's the end around to Gordon, 35, dancing there, breaks a tackle up to the 40. That's where he'll be tackled. Good block ahead of him by Barrera there.
The trick plays, they just keep coming.
Now, we were talking earlier, they set that up with a couple of fakes earlier, didn't get the yardage they wanted, just a 4-yard pickup on that play as the third quarter expires. And the score is 35-20. Santa Monica leads Santa Barbara. I believe now we will go down to the sideline.
Corsairs were rolling, but Santa Barbara has not let up. They've come back. We're at 35-20. We're at the start of the fourth, and I just want to give you a little bit of an update on Matthew Braithwaite, the number 91 defensive lineman for the Corsairs. He is on the bench. He has ice on his knee, and he's supposed to get an MRI to figure out what's going on with his ACL. That's what we know for now. Hopefully he'll be back up and running before these 2 tough games that they have ahead of them in their schedule. Let's get back to the boys in the top to make sure we're ready for the fourth quarter.
2nd and 6 as we start the fourth quarter here. Thank you, Beth Haggerty. ACL, 3 letters, no football player wants to hear, Will.
Absolutely not. That's a scary injury. That's a year. That's a full year right there.
Miles Johnson met in the middle of the defense for Santa Barbara. That's Morgan Nevin, the freshman from Truckee, hog-tying him and throwing him down maybe a yard or so for Miles.
You see, they're getting good penetration. It's just they can't sustain penetration throughout the drive.
Number 12 was making it hard, though, Will.
That is true.
They get penetration, they stop the run, and then number 12 steps in. That's Alfonso Medina, the first-team all-conference quarterback from last year, well on his way to getting that honor here in 2012. Here's the play action. Deep drop from Medina, being chased. He'll put the ball up to the right side. Mitchell, the intended receiver, he'll just throw that out of bounds. Closing on coverage was Delancey Parham for Santa Barbara.
Barrera, the receiver he was looking for, his feet got tied up. So he had to go to a secondary receiver and just kind of edge that out of bounds. Smart play to get rid of that football.
If you want to look for positives for Santa Barbara, they've held Dominic Barrera, the tight end for Santa Monica, in check. Of course, Ralph Gordon, Reggie Mitchell have really hurt the Vaqueros as well. 4th down upcoming, and Santa Monica will punt it away. Rhett Tillman on the field for the Corsairs. Back deep to receive for Santa Barbara is Mitch Nelson. He's standing at about the 25. 4th and 7 from the 40. The ball snapped back. Tillman had one miraculous play already today. Fair catch called for, and Nelson lets it bounce, and it'll be down inside the 20 by Santa Monica.
That's a mistake on special teams. That ball should have went back at least 7 more yards.
The Corsairs got to run out of the way.
Yeah, Eric Powell, running back, he needs to avoid that ball. That's 6-7 yards. I know they're winning, but it's mistakes like that that let teams get back in the games.
See, and this is where Santa Monica has an immense advantage. Right now, Santa Barbara is down 35-20. Plenty of time left in the fourth quarter. We've chronicled their troubles in the fourth quarter in terms of scoring, but if you have an Alfonso Medina in this situation down 2 scores, you can run that 4-minute and that 2-minute offense. You can throw to the seams. You can throw to the numbers. You can throw to Barrera. They don't have those options really for Santa Barbara because Evans, as you mentioned, out of the pocket, he's not particularly effective.
He's not. They got to find a way to move the pocket for him. They really do. It's interesting to see what this kid can do if they would do that for him.
4 receivers in the formation. He'll throw that screen to the outside to Brown. 20, 25, 30, and out of bounds. Wow. Had he been able to turn that corner, it might have been a foot race, which would have ended in the favor of Santa Barbara.
Where they got the first down, they got a good gain there. I'm a big fan of the screen pass, but this team, even though they had yards there, they need to be more vertical. They're not being vertical enough.
13-yard pickup on the play. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 31 for Santa Barbara. Under 14 minutes to play in this one. 35-20. Santa Monica leads the Vaqueros of Santa Barbara City College. Jared Evans out of the shotgun, 4 receivers in the formation. The tight end Heller in the slot to the near side. They'll hand the ball off to the tailback Walton, who's in there. He'll bull forward over the 35 to the 36-yard line, keeping the clock moving, and Walton with a 5-yard pickup. 2nd and 6 upcoming, Will. You like throwing the run in to keep them honest, keep the defense honest?
I think you need to run the ball a little bit, but it's getting to dinner time.
Yeah.
You need to get in home. You got to get home for dinner. You hear your dad whistling, get in that end zone and get home.
Evans drops back. He's going to throw the ball. Again, throws it behind, and nearly a spectacular interception made on that play by Austin Ulrich.
I don't even know what to say.
That's about the 3rd time he's thrown behind Heller. Now, Heller didn't help him in the first half, dropping a couple passes, but I think the 3rd pass in a row he's thrown behind the big tight end.
What? It doesn't seem they have any chemistry. They need to get, you can't win if you don't have chemistry with your receivers.
He targeted Tinlin, I think, 4 times and completed 3 passes. He's targeted Heller about 6 times. 1 completion, 2 drops, and 3 misfires. 3rd and 6. Evans being chased. Pressure being applied by Scott. He throws it deep, incomplete, broken up on the far side by Kawan Floyd.
Santa Monica got lucky they didn't get hit with a roughing the passer there. That looked pretty close.
DeLeon Scott, the 6'2", 280-pound sophomore, bearing down, or as Keith Jackson likes to say, 280 pounds of raw meanness.
And here comes the key to the team, the special teams.
So again, the struggles continue in the fourth quarter for the Vaqueros, Will.
Santa Barbara's got to find a way to get this ball moving. They're just sputtering. They started off this game so promising, and it's been a pretty big disappointment.
The ball punted by Thomas. Gordon's it's going to be a short kick, and he's probably not even within 20 yards of it. And again, the problem for Santa Barbara, in addition to their offensive struggles, is the guy you have on the other side of the field. You know, Alfonso Medina can matriculate the ball into the end zone. I mean, it's 12:53 right now, 2-score game, very manageable. If at 10:53 it's 42-20, you've completely flipped the game. So it's a real sense of urgency for the Santa Barbara defense, who, as crazy as it seems, 35 points on the board, they've not played badly today, Will.
They haven't. At certain points in this game, I actually think they've outplayed Santa Monica. It's just, it goes down to your playmakers. And Alfonso Medina has simply been that, a playmaker.
Gordon in the near slot. Mitchell split out wide to the near side. Miles Johnson behind Medina in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 46. Play action. Looking deep. No, he's going to throw to the seam. The ball is complete to Barrera, the tight end. 45-40. He'll be tackled there at about the 40-yard line.
That was picture perfect. You see how Barrera finished his route. He made his cut and cut it back upfield. The textbook.
They gave him the 41, not the 40, so 1st and 10 from the 41. And the big tight end, Barrera, 34 catches for 378 yards coming in. 5th in the conference in yards, 3rd in receptions. He's also got 3 touchdown catches on the season.
I like how Santa Monica is staying aggressive by throwing the ball.
Medina turns and hands to Johnson up the middle. He'll get a couple, maybe 4, as he's tackled down the 38 of the 37.
Tick, tick, tick. controlling that clock is Santa Monica here. Time is slowly but surely running out for Santa Barbara here. They need to make a stop on this drive.
Jacob Franco, the sophomore, 6'1", 220-pound linebacker, making the play out of Carpinteria for Santa Barbara City College. 35-20, the Corsairs of Santa Monica lead SBCC, under 12 minutes to play, and the Corsairs driving. Their first team all-conference quarterback from last year, Alfonso Medina, adding to his resume here in 2012. Medina, play action, rolling right. A little bit of pressure, but he's looking. He's going to throw the ball, overthrown, out of an incomplete. Had a couple of guys breaking in. He had Gordon deep, and there was a receiver up a little bit closer that I think was the intended target for SMC. That was Brian Rivas.
Personal foul here. Looks like Santa Monica's going to get a first down here for roughing the passer.
With his 2 touchdown passes today, Will, 50 career touchdown passes for Alfonso Medina in his career here at Santa Monica College. Already has the school record, but a half century, that's pretty impressive.
It's absolutely impressive. And that being said, to have 19 touchdowns this season is impressive with 2 games left.
Another milestone today with him. He has 2 today, but Miles Johnson has 21 career touchdowns, so he eclipsed the 20 touchdown mark in his second season here at Santa Monica College. On the year this year, he's got 9 rushing touchdowns.
He really is a joy to watch.
The ball moves to the 23-yard line, and 1st and 10 for Santa Monica. Handoff after the fake throw. Here's Johnson moving up to the 20, inside the 20. Tackle there, another flag on the play. Colin Christian on the tackle for Santa Barbara. And that'll all come back.
Again with the discipline. They're winning the game, but they're losing the game with penalties. This is one of the 2 teams they got left this season. They're not going to be able to pull it out. They need to be more disciplined. You need to play like you're playing the teams you're going to play.
Next week, the Corsairs host LA Pierce here at Corsair Field, and then November 10th, they're on the road at Antelope Valley. They need to win the division. So if they don't finish in first, there is no playoff game. There is no bowl game. If the Corsairs can win out, they would win their 2nd straight conference championship under Gifford Lindheim.
Those are 2 teams not to take lightly either.
Well, especially Antelope Valley on the road at their place. It's going to be difficult.
Should be an interesting last game of the season.
They're going to let the play clock expire here. Play clock is at 0. There's some confusion. They're going to rewind it. And now there's confusion with the officials. So Medina came up to the line of scrimmage and saw that play clock at 0. And now the officials will caucus. Kurt Zimmerman, our lead official, will have a conversation with the back judge, and they'll explain it to the Santa Monica sideline.
You know, Gazal, there's several players out wearing pink today in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Interesting. Yeah, raise awareness and raise money for research as well. It's going around, actually, a lot of the athletic events, a lot of the high school games I'd watched, then obviously the NFL involved in that.
It's nice to see our collegiate athletes trying to make a difference in this world.
Now there's a caucus on the sideline in front of the Santa Monica sideline, the back judge, the field judge, and the referee discussing it. And so there was a flag on the play, had the holding call called back. So Santa Monica 1st and 17 from the 30 will restart it. They put time back on the clock, so now 11:22, and they'll wind the clock now. Barrera in motion. Medina takes the snap, a little bit of pressure. He'll move up, 30, 25, he'll tuck it under, spin down to the 20-yard line. So a 10-yard pickup, it'll be 2nd and 7. And now there'll be another flag.
That play was all set up by Miles Johnson picking up that block.
That's what they asked the running back to do. You got to be able to pick up blitzers, and he did that on that play.
But that extra clicker activity may have cost Santa Monica College. We'll see which way this penalty gets called.
Personal foul called against Santa Barbara.
It'll go against the Vaqueros, so it'll be a first down for Santa Monica. The personal foul will get marched off, and Santa Barbara, last time these 2 teams played, there were a lot of penalties. Last year in that 33-9 game on October 8th of 2011, 10 penalties for the Corsairs for 101 yards. Santa Barbara got 17 for 162.
You just can't win games playing like that.
Discipline is so important particularly when you're playing from behind. You can't give second chances, and that will be marched off. The ball sits on the 10-yard line, so I'm watching the chain gang to see if the Corsairs will be able to get a first down inside the 1. So not yet first and goal. It is a 1st and 10 from just outside the 10-yard line. We are under 11 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter. 35-20. Santa Monica leads Santa Barbara.
This could be the nail in that coffin, Gazal.
Big defensive sequence, and the clock stops. Timeout, Corsairs.
Timeout taken by Santa Monica. That's their first time out of the
half. The Corsairs could very easily be 7-0, but head coach was suspended for the first game because of an issue that happened last season in the bowl game.
Yeah, they lost to San Jacinto in the opener here. It was a 31-28 game. Since then, San Jacinto, they're just undefeated. So the one game they lost was to a team that's undefeated. The one game they lost last year was to East LA in that bowl game, a game that team had already beaten. So 12 of the last 14 have the Corsairs won, and I believe something like 14 of 18 as well. And then they were 8-3 last year, and they're 6-1 this year, so 14 of their last 18. In terms of conference play, they've won 10 straight conference games, looking like it's going to be 11. They started that streak last year on October 8th against these Santa Barbara Vacantas up at their place.
And you and I both know that your conference games, they're the ones that they're nail biters. They can go either way. For them to do that, that is impressive. That is incredible.
You know, and my belief across all sports is the most impressive thing to do is to repeat. Because once you've done it once, as you mentioned earlier, the bullseye's on your back, and that's exactly when we were talking. When I was in Coach Giff's office, we were talking about that, and I asked him, I said, you know, if you don't get it this year, you did it last year, and you've obviously had a good year. Will you guys be satisfied? He said, absolutely not. The goal is to win and go back to a bowl game.
Things are heating up. No, not yet.
All right, we'll toss it down to Beth Haggerty on the sideline.
10 minutes left in the 4th quarter, and tensions are getting a little high. There's been some pushing and shoving, and a personal foul on Santa Barbara just cost them kind of dearly. Corsairs are now in the red zone, threatening to score. Back upstairs.
Thank you, Beth, and I'm glad you bring up the red zone. Red zone offense, Santa Monica has been close to perfect. 27 of 28 in terms of scores, that's 96%. 22 of 28 in terms of touchdowns, that's nearly 80%. That's like they're a team on a sitcom or a team on a TV show. You know, the team on the TV shows always scores. Santa Monica is that, except they're a real team.
The score in the red zone, people would think it's easy, but it's actually harder. It bunches your defense in closer. So those are some very impressive numbers by Santa Monica College.
Well, the 80% touchdowns is what really impresses me. Wow.
They're not settling for field goals.
Medina rolling. He's being chased. He'll lob it deep. It'll be out of reach, and he just threw that one away. 2nd and 10 upcoming. He was chased on the play by, get this, Colin Powell. No relation, obviously. Powell, the sophomore from Dos Pueblos High School in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, we got a couple of famous names on each side of the ball. We got an Aaron Rodgers and Colin Powell.
That's right. Colin with 2 L's, and the Rodgers, obviously, for Santa Monica, no D. 10:41 to play in this one, 35-20. The Corsairs lead 2nd and 10 from just outside the 10-yard line. Empty backfield for the Corsairs. Now coming in motion is Eric Kyle. They'll toss to Kyle running outside. And nice tackle from behind. And
horse collar.
Yeah,
a horse collar.
That was Mitch Nelson, the sophomore from Truckee, and he'll get tackled. He led the Vaqueros in tackles last year. He's 5th this year, and there'll be a penalty and a first down for Santa Monica.
You know, in talking to some of the coaches, they said that their motto is not win every game, it's win every quarter, and they've won the last 3 quarters of this ball game.
Actually a face mask, not a horse collar, so half the distance in 1st and goal. And I was going to say, sometimes the horse collar is unavoidable because obviously at that point Nelson is going full speed and he's reaching out for what he can grab. But as far as the face mask, obviously it's a very dangerous play. The horse collar is dangerous when you're running up from behind, but laterally it's a little different. You're just grabbing for anything you can get at that point. Ball spotted at the 5. 1st and goal, Santa Monica. They've already put 35 on the board. Medina with 2 touchdown passes already on the game. He'll toss right. That's Kyle running right. And Kyle, touchdown, Santa Monica.
Way to cut it up and into the end zone. This team they just know how to go home. They know how to get in the end zone.
41-20. 10:06 remain in the fourth quarter, and we'll have the extra point pending here for Santa Monica. Santa Monica came in averaging, as you mentioned, 37 points a game. They're over their average for the season. Santa Barbara, incidentally, came in, they were 5th in the conference in points allowed, or excuse me, they're 2nd in the conference in points allowed at just under 22, but obviously the Corsairs offense prolific, as we talked about before the game.
We got another flag on the play here.
And this is going to go on the Corsairs.
Now, the Corsairs all but have this game locked up, but yet again, penalties. You might have this game locked up, but you don't got next week locked up. Let's play some disciplined football here, boys.
Well, and that's obviously what Coach Giff's going to say when they go off the field. It's like, listen, we're up 20 points. We're up 3 scores. You don't need to be doing that.
You know, I can very easily see this locker room. I can see them getting yelled at when they get in the locker room, even after such an impressive win.
And that's the thing about the staff. You know, I talked to Coach Giff, and I asked him. He was the interim coach in 2009 and then took over full-time in 2010. I said, what was the biggest change from going to interim to being full-time? And he said, I chose my own staff. And he's like, he chose a bunch of guys. If you look up and down the list, Will, they've all been head coaches elsewhere. Snap is back, hold is down. The kick's going to be no good. It's blocked. So 41-20 is the score. At 10:06 to go, so Valencia had missed 6, now make it 7. So he is 6 of 7 today, or sorry, 5 of 6 today, 38 of 45 on the year.
I just can't see Giff being happy about this win when he gets in the locker room. This team, they expect excellence on every play in every game. I mean, it's a win. A win is a win, but they can definitely grow.
I mean, if you know, and Coach Giff's been great with us. He's been very open about us coming to watch practice. And I was commenting to him, the practices really get very spirited. And he says, you know, we kind of want it that way because there's open competition at every position. So that's really what it is that now if a guy's not, you know, if a guy's getting penalties after a play, the guy playing behind him has an opportunity maybe to play a little more next week. You don't want to get Wally pipped at that point.
Hey, it kind of made our job a little bit difficult because we didn't know who was going to be in the starting lineup today.
41-20 the score, 10:06 to play. Escobar will kick it off for Santa Monica, puts his foot into it, and he'll boom it deep to the goal line. Fielded there by Santa Barbara. Nice cut with a ball carrier on the play, Kyle Brown, the freshman from Scottsdale. He's tackled over the 15, so it'll be about 1st and 10 from the 17 for Santa Barbara.
With just under 10 minutes, Santa Monica College looks like they're well on the way to their 5th Division Conference win.
Lost to San Jacinto, then wins against Chaffee, San Bernardino out of conference. West LA, Glendale, LA Southwest, LA Valley, now Santa Barbara for their 5th straight conference win. They got 2 games left. LA Pierce here next week, and then at Antelope Valley on November 10th. Jared Evans back in at quarterback for Santa Barbara City. Will take the snap and roll right. Got a little pressure there. He'll get to the edge outside over the line of scrimmage to the 23 before jumping out of bounds. 5-yard pickup on 1st down for Jared Evans.
I like how they're putting him in. They're letting him move, but there's nothing for him downfield.
On a roll there, and he's going to penalty flag. Getting a little chippy, as you mentioned, Will.
Hey, you got to hope Santa Barbara doesn't lose their self-control here and start making dumb penalties here.
That's a personal foul on Santa Monica. And Steve Garcia kind of beside himself there. He's like, what are you guys doing? Defensive coordinator, assistant head coach for the Corsairs. I mean, you run the guy out of bounds after a gain. All right, sure enough, why do you got to keep pushing? We're up by 3 scores is what he's probably telling his players.
And sometimes you just get in that mood, and you get in that mode, and it's hard to shut it off. But you got to be disciplined. I keep going back to the word discipline.
I love when you quote Rambo. Under 10 minutes to play, 4th quarter, 41-20, Santa Monica with the lead, but Santa Barbara trying to climb back into this one. Evans has time, but nobody open. He'll turn it, run it upfield. 40, steps out of bounds at about the 43.
You can see that he doesn't even want to really throw the ball from the pocket. He had an outlet receiver, but he chose to run it, which isn't necessarily the bad play. He got the yards, but he looks very uncomfortable in the pocket.
6-yard run on, or give him a 5-yard run on first down. So 2nd and 5 upcoming for Santa Barbara. And now really, I'm surprised they don't have more of a sense of urgency. They're already running the hurry up, and they're down 3 scores.
Yeah, they don't have very much sense of urgency in their body language.
Evans with the snap, dumping it incomplete. Short throw, intended receiver Kyle Brown. You know what? Kyle Brown had some space. He's 5'8", 150, and he's shifty.
That's one of those situations where I think he should have kept the ball and just stepped up in the pocket and took off. He had nobody in the middle there. I mean, he did have a receiver, but he hasn't been throwing good from the pocket.
You know, and this brings up a point that you said their body language seems down. In the world of junior college football, there's no flight, there's no hotels. You know, they got on a bus at 8:45 this morning and drove to L.A. And it was hot when we got here. I got here about 10:30. The sun was hanging high. Evans takes the snap. He'll throw to his outlet. That's Jeff Walton running outside the Pally High product. He's to the 50 into Corsair territory, tackled at about the 48. So the ball about a 10-yard pickup. He'll have a first down. The sticks will move up for Santa Barbara. What I was going to say is it was hot. So they got on a bus. They drove 2 hours. It's hot in the sun, and perhaps they're wilting a little bit in the fourth quarter.
It's going to be a very interesting bus ride home. I can only imagine how horrible of a ride that's going to be in L.A. traffic at 5 p.m.
1st and 10 from the 48. Evans takes the snap. He's got time. He'll throw deep. The ball is complete. Juking outside is Kyle Brown, tackled at the 10-yard line. The gain down to the 10, a 38-yard completion from Jared Evans to Kyle Brown. A little flash there from Evans.
He looked a little Medina-esque there.
Actually, officially they'll mark it at the 13, so make it a 35-yard completion.
Maybe they could use this as a spark. Maybe not necessarily for this game, but to continue for the rest of their season. End their season on a high mark, end this game on a high mark.
Evans takes the snap. He's got pressure, eludes it, gets outside, throws to the corner of the end zone, in and out of the hands of Brown. Incomplete.
Brown needs to make that catch.
Yeah.
Period. That's all I have to say about that.
He's been victimized, and he's been inconsistent. He's thrown some balls behind his receivers, but he's been victimized by a couple of big drops. That would have been a touchdown, and then earlier in the first half on a big third down play, his tight end drop one on him.
You got to think, are the receivers not expecting the ball to be right where it's supposed to be? I mean, they've had some bad throws before. Just putting it out there.
You look at Jared Evans, 6'4", 190, obviously a tremendous athlete. If he could develop any consistency in terms of throwing the ball out of the pocket, he'll be a handful to deal with next year. They flush him out to the right through the Corsairs. He spins, stays on his feet at about the 10, and then he's towed under. He'll fall forward about a yard to the 9-yard line. He'll bring up a third down for Santa Barbara, about a 3rd and 6.
He's got good awareness. He's able to escape the pressure. He just got to be able to make that throw.
Clock moving. We tick down to 8 minutes remaining in this one. 41-20 the score. Santa Monica leads Santa Barbara, and they're looking for their 7th straight win of the year and their 11th straight win in conference play dating back to last season. This team has won 12 of their last 14. Under head coach Gifford Lindheim. Here's the snap back to Evans. Steps up. He throws, underthrows it. Incomplete. Intended receiver on that play was Steven Jerome.
It's been the story of this game, is the poor throwing from the pocket. It really is the story of this game. He's great out of the pocket once he's outside the hash marks, but he just can't do it. And the coaching staff has not done a good enough job of changing it up.
Yeah, that's karma, because they didn't let him talk. They didn't let you talk to him before the game. Let the Philly boy say what up,
Yeah.
Say yo.
I gotta give respect to my Philly dude,
You gotta ask him what his favorite sandwich is at the Wawa. Evans out of the shotgun. Throwing to his tight end. Oh, a deflection caught by Walton, and that's a touchdown.
Great awareness by Walton there to follow the football. Great hand and eye coordination to come over that ball. That's not an easy task.
Jeff Walton is a freshman from Palisades High School. A couple of his teammates play for the Corsairs. He didn't want to get ribbed all that badly about this game. He catches the deflection off the hands of Tyson Heller. And I'll tell you what, it's been a rough afternoon for Heller, the tight end for Santa Barbara, but a touchdown for the Vaqueros. The Corsairs were offside, so score the 6 for Santa Barbara. And here comes Marcus Horberg on the field. He's 2 for 3 on PATs this afternoon. Also had a field goal blocked. And they'll go to that shift formation. The wingback is Peterson.
And yet again, even though it doesn't matter, it was another penalty.
Yeah, you know Coach Giff's going to get after him a little bit about that, even though they're going to win this one.
I would not want to be a fly on that wall.
Some movement in the middle of the line. There's flags flying everywhere, and it's going to go on. It's going to go on Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I was really interested in asking Evans where he likes to get his cheesesteaks at.
I knew you were going to do that. That's kind of a cool thing, I think. But obviously, I mean, in fairness, Coach Baropoulos was really great with us. He gave us about 10 or 15 minutes in the end zone before the game. We talked a little bit. He gave me some time on the phone earlier this week, and I understand he wants his players focused on the game. But, it's kind of a Philly thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see what he would say, because I know anybody really from Philly is going to say Jim's, not Pat or Gino's.
Now the extra point attempt is in essence a 32-yard field or a 25-yard field goal. More flags.
You can actually find a pretty good cheesesteak here in Santa Monica at the Shack.
No, they didn't pay for advertising, so you can't say that well.
Oh. My bad.
You get the ribeye from the butcher shop. I bet you make a mean cheesesteak.
I do make a pretty mean cheesesteak. My dad's actually a chef, so I kind of learned.
All right, this is going to be a 30-yard kick for the PAT after 2 penalties. So they're going to snap the ball back to the 20, and Horberg, whose longest field goal of the year is 33, will get some practice here. Hold is down, and Horberg pumps it through, 41-27 with 7:37. Not unmanageable. The big plus for Santa Barbara is they get a touchdown in the 4th quarter.
It's a big difference in score compared to the last 2 weeks, though. You got to think that the defense is a little disappointed in how they played this game.
I mean, it's a big tipping point. Keep in mind that first touchdown for Santa Monica off the block field goal. Mm-hmm. So if you put the block field goal on the board, we're talking it's a 34-30 game right now.
That's true. Luck is a little bit a part of the game, but they got to play more better defense. They got to play more disciplined defense.
But I wouldn't. You call it luck, and that's fair. That's fair enough. I call it opportunity. When you have an opportunity to score, you need to score. We talked about they ended up getting a touchdown, but the ball in the corner of the end zone to Brown. If he drops that and they don't score, that's an opportunity that passed you by.
We're watching out for an onside kick here.
I don't think they do it down 2. I think they, maybe if they were within 1, but let's see. I say no, you say yes. Let's see. Let's see who wins this one. And there looks like they are lining up for the onside. Horberg is going to make the approach from the right, and he'll fake it, and now it'll be number 15 kicking it off, Mitch Nelson, but the Corsairs will field it just in front of the 40-yard line, and they'll take possession.
I love it when I'm right.
I was surprised they do it down 2. I thought they'd try to at least get a stop, but obviously they don't have the confidence the defense can stop Santa Monica.
Well, you got to understand, they're not just battling Santa Monica College here. They're also battling the clock.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point. 7:36 in the 4th quarter remaining. All right, let's go down to Beth Haggerty on the field.
Here at Santa Monica College this afternoon, it's not only homecoming, we've had a few festivities. They've had the Crenshaw Marching Band out at halftime to celebrate, and they also brought all of the athletic teams from Santa Monica College out to give them a little bit of honor and have the fans clap for them today while the football team plays. As well, we have one little interesting tidbit that's going on. The Future Alumni Association of Santa Monica College is filming a documentary about the homecoming events. They want to do this. Their focus is to get alumni and future alumni back involved and more support for the school. So that's going on as well today. And we'll go back up to the booth.
Hey, Beth, thanks a lot. While she was doing her report on the homecoming, Aaron Jones with a 2-yard pickup, so 2nd and 8. Happy homecoming if you're involved with SMC, if you're a student, if you're an alumnus, or if you're involved with any aspect of the school. It was a nice turnout today. Medina behind center will take the direct snap. Hand the ball off to Johnson. Johnson up the middle. There's another flag on the play. Moving to the right side before he's tackled there. Colin Powell getting to it. Actually, that was Jones, not Johnson. Excuse me. Aaron Jones, the sophomore from Venice, getting in there.
Do you think his teammates have a nickname for him? Do you think they call him the General?
I'm sure it's something like that. No relation, of course. 2 L's in Powell. How about the Chief of Staff? Colin Powell, Chief of Staff. They're going to march that off against Santa Monica. Yeah.
I don't want to beat a dead horse, so I'm not even going to say it, but you know what I'm thinking.
I mean, well, you know, and part of that is we talked to Coach Giff, so we understand what his philosophy is in football, and he abhors penalties. He's told us that many times.
He expects excellence out of his players. And to just win isn't excellent.
6.5 remaining, 41-27. Corsairs lead by 2 scores. 3 receivers to the far side. Turn, hand the ball off. Jones running left. He's up over the 40, back to the 43. So that's where the Corsairs originally were before the penalty. It'll be about a 3rd and 8 situation upcoming. So they can get off the field here. The Santa Barbara defense can get off the field and get the ball back. Another opportunity to draw within one score. Santa Monica on the year, 37% on 3rd down conversions, 31 of 84.
This game is a couple bad throws from being the other way.
Mitchell to the near side, Gordon up top, and Barrera the tight end. Double tight end set for Santa Monica. Here comes Gordon into motion. Medina with the fake on the bubble screen, handoff to Jones. Nice job there. The middle of the line converging. Garen Chabanian for Santa Barbara, the freshman from San Rafael, Terralinda High, makes the play. Short gain. It'll be 4th down.
One thing about both these quarterbacks in this game, Medina and Evans, they both do a great job of selling their fakes. They follow through with the play to a T.
Their hands are very good. They're very fluid, good ledger domain on both sides, especially on those option plays. And now here's the punt coming from Brett Tillman, the freshman out of Culver City, averaging 38 yards. He's put 2 inside the 20 this afternoon.
Backup quarterback's in. I'm not expecting a fake here, but just wanted to point that out.
Tillman with the boot, waving for the fair catch at about the 22-yard line for Santa Barbara is Mitch Nelson, and that's where the Vaqueros will start.
I'll tell you, Santa Monica better not let their foot off the pedal here, because this is still a 2-possession game.
Yeah.
They can very easily find themselves only up by a touchdown.
Craig Moropoulos for his career is 2-2 against Santa Monica, 1-2 against Coach Gifford Lindheim. But in 2008, the 6-4 Vaqueros, due to some recruiting violations, they vacated their 6 wins. So officially they're 0-10. But I'm going to give Moropoulos the 6 wins. He coached those games. It happened something on an administrative level that didn't involve the coach, but the football team was penalized.
I say that's fair to give him the wins.
Yeah, I just, 4:55 to play, 2-score game, 41-27. Here's the handoff. Around the end is Kyle Brown. He's going to lose 2 yards. Good play on the outside there for Santa Monica.
See, with under 5 minutes, under 25-yard line, I understand running the football, but I don't understand why you're not throwing more so. I mean, you're down by 2 scores. You need to score quick. You need to you need to score a touchdown in 2 minutes. And running the ball is not going to help you there.
We tick down to it, and you mentioned the clock being an enemy, and that's a big problem.
They're not hustling to the line. Their body language is not showing that they're trying to strive through.
Evans under pressure, throws it over the middle, in and out of the hands of his tailback, Kevin Dennis, incomplete 3rd down and long coming up. And there was pressure back there for Santa Monica.
See, nobody's running back to the hustle. They're all walking. They're in this game.
Yeah, you'd think they would be there'd be more of a sense of urgency. I mean, if you get us, because if they score here and get an onside, then you're in the game here.
It's like watching the Eagles with Donovan McNabb.
Wow. Evans under pressure. He's going to be set. No, he's going to get out of it. Little Eli Manning move there. He's going to throw the ball back late over the middle. Man, he threw for a 5-yard pickup, which is fine, but he had 2 guys down the field, and we'll get a bunch of whistles, and now there's some extracurricular activity going on. And now there'll be a flag thrown.
They really have failed at taking shots downfield this game. And I've said a couple times, they need to be a little bit more vertical. And they were too lateral in this game.
Wade Norberg and DeJuan Butler getting into it. DeJuan Butler for Santa Monica and Wade Norberg for Santa Barbara. Let's sort this all out. A couple of flags on the play.
Penalty flags after the play.
But I mean, you're right. At that time, he was on the run, so you'd think that he would throw the ball downfield on the run. Now, Santa Monica did have coverage on the play, but they were 2 white shirts out there. So at that point, you know, as a quarterback, you talk about decision making. He's got to make a decision to get that ball down the field.
Well, you need to know where you are in this game. There comes a time when you have to trust your receiver to make a play. He might not always make that play, but you have to trust your receiver would.
You know, and honestly, we've seen that happen on the Santa Monica side. Mitchell made a play, Barrera made a play, and Gordon made a play for it to help Medina out when Medina was struggling earlier.
And with them punting, they're pretty much all but conceding this game in Santa Monica.
I mean, which I get, but at 4th and 7, you know, with Evans back there, maybe you give it a shot because, yeah, right now you're giving the ball back to Medina. With 3:45, you may not get it back.
And if you do, I don't think you're going to get back in enough time for 2 scores.
Aaron Thomas puts his foot into it. Gordon will just call for the fair catch. He'll catch it at 34.
Especially with the kicking game not working so well for them today. Their kicking has not been good at all.
So they'll mark it to 35, 1st and 10 for Santa Monica. And striding out there is that first-team offense for SMC, led by Alfonso Medina. Go ahead, sorry.
Santa Monica's been starting off some pretty good field positions pretty much for the majority of this game. That's been a big factor in why they are winning this game right now. It came down to the special teams in this.
A big play by special teams early opened it up the scoring for Santa Monica, and that really helped them because really Santa Barbara outplayed them in that first quarter. We're leading 14-7. Medina out of the shotgun, empty backfield. Now here comes Gordon. They'll give the ball to Gordon around the end. 35, 40, turns up field. 43, probably popped out of bounds there, but an 8-yard pickup.
He's got to stay in bounds there. It's a great game, great run, but you have to have better awareness of the field and the time on the clock. You got to keep that clock running.
Oh, wow, they marked it up at the 45. They're going to move the sticks, 1st down. We were right above the Santa Monica bench, so obviously when RG2 got to the sideline there, all the Corsairs kind of converged on the sideline.
You see Gift there shouting at his players to maintain your focus.
Ball on the turf. Ball was handed off to Aaron Jones. There was a mishandle in the backfield, but Santa Monica got it back.
Yeah, it looks like Jones landed on top of that ball.
Covered by Santa Monica. 2nd down.
One thing about Coach Lindheim, when you go out on the field and watch them practice, he clearly leads. You know, we were talking about he runs the special teams, does not make an offensive or defensive call throughout the game, but he's undoubtedly the leader of this club.
One of the coaches said he thinks the reason they lost that game, the first game of the season, is because he wasn't on the sidelines.
Suspended because of the fight after the East LA bowl game last year. Medina hands the ball off to Jones, gets hit, 45, dancing, 50, moving forward, and he's tackled there. Tackle on the play by Morgan Nevin for Santa Barbara. Close to a 1st down is Aaron Jones.
Yeah. Let me see, because I need it.
So he picks up 9, it'll be 3rd and 3.
Santa Monica's next matchup comes November 3rd against LA Pierce at 1 p.m.
Right here. You going to be here, Will?
I believe I will be.
I'll be here as well. I'll see you here.
Off the 48-yard line.
I don't know if we're broadcasting, but I'll definitely be around. Under 2 minutes to play in this one. 41-27. Santa Monica just trying to milk this clock and end the game. They don't want to give the ball back to Santa Barbara if they don't have to. Hand the ball off. Aaron Jones running right. 45, juking, bleeds forward. He's tackled there by Delancey Parham. He'll be marked down at the 37. 1st down, Santa Monica. They'll move the sticks up. Actually, the 43. So a 5-yard pickup on the 1st down.
This has been a great, hard-played game by Santa Monica, but they really need to clean their game up if they want to stay undefeated in the conference next week against LA Pierce. They got to cut these penalties down significantly.
Although you will say the second half, Santa Monica, the time they were running off those couple of touchdowns, they really looked superior to Santa Barbara, and they've kind of wilted off.
It seems they awoke in that sleeping giant.
Delayed handoff to Jones, trying to run left. There's 3 tacklers there to bring him down on the play. Alexi Nystrom out there along with Colin Powell and Colin Christian. And, you know, I mean, you're right, Will, and obviously Coach Giff is going to get on the team for the penalties, but to me, at the point that it was 35-14, Santa Barbara even seemed like they were conceding this one. They got the one drive at the end of the third quarter where they got 35-20. They ended up scoring in the fourth quarter. And that kind of bumped them back into the game. But I didn't see a whole lot of sense of urgency from Santa Barbara as a penalty moves the ball forward now for Santa Monica. 5-yard mark off. They have the ball now at the 38.
They had their wide receivers walking back to the huddle, 20 yards walking back to the huddle. How about a little hustle? When you're on the football field, you run.
Under a minute to play. Santa Monica is going to try to run the clock here. Medina will turn and give the ball. That's Eric Kyle up the middle. He'll be hit immediately. He'll bounce out of that still on his feet, but they'll whistle him down. Garen Chavanian again with the tackle for Santa Barbara, the freshman from San Rafael.
Should have about one more play here and mark it up to 7-1, 5-0 in the conference.
5 straight wins in conference play this year, 7 straight wins overall. 10 straight wins in conference, or 11 straight wins now in conference for SMC. 6-0 last year, they're 5-0 this year.
And to put up 41 points with this many penalties, imagine if they cut the penalties out, how great this team could be.
That's Eric Pugh, the freshman from Fairfax. He gets a first down. So the clock will stop the clock with 6 seconds to go. As they're going to run the clock out, and that'll be it. 41-27 is the final. We want to go back down one last time to Beth Haggerty on the sideline. The Santa Monica Corsairs defeat Santa Barbara 41-27. We'll go down to Beth and we'll come back to me and Will for some final thoughts. Final score 41-27. I guess she's going to try to run down Coach Giff. Give me your final thoughts here, Will. What was the good things and what were the things, obviously aside from the penalties, that you thought could be improved?
Well, the defense stepped it up in the second half. They came out on fire. They disrupted Evans's throwing. They maintained him in the pocket. They realized he couldn't throw in the pocket, and they made him throw in the pocket, and he didn't step it up. And on the other side of the ball for Santa Monica, their leader, their playmaker, their all-star stepped up, and he took control of this game. That's why the score is 41-27 right now.
I was impressed in the second half how the offense came out for Santa Monica after, I want to say play poorly. They were scuffling a little bit in the first half, and they came out immediately. They took care of business. They turned a 21-14 lead into a 35-14 lead, and then at that point it was pretty much over. A couple of extra scores exchanged to make it 41-27 the final.
I can't say enough about the Santa Monica College offense. Their wide receivers, their running backs, their halfbacks, their quarterback, their line stepped up. Their line was letting the defense just come right in, just berate the quarterback, and all aspects of their team they straightened up.
You know,
Hey, Von Lean!
plenty of accolades to go around. Miles Johnson with a couple of touchdowns today, eclipses 20 for his Santa Monica career. Alfonso Medina, somebody just asked us again, and we did mention it, we'll mention it again. On his 20th birthday, throws a couple of TD passes to eclipse, or to reach 50, the milestone of 50 for his career. And what a cool customer he is. You know, the couple times I've had an opportunity to watch him play live, I'm so impressed by him. And I really hope this guy gets an opportunity to play at some D1 school next year.
And I believe he will. The kid's a stud. Plain and simple, he's a stud. It makes for an interesting matchup next week with SMC staying 5-0 undefeated in the conference, 7-1 in play. Next week is going to be a great battle.
And it's interesting. You look at the two quarterbacks. Here's a study in contrast. You know, you had Jared Evans, 6'4", 190, coming out of Philadelphia. He looks the part. The big, strong kid, athletic, and he's the guy the D1 schools are after. Medina, 6'1", 190, played in a passing offense in Venice. The question they're all going to ask is, can he play in our offense? Well, he certainly can. And the key with him is demeanor. The big difference we saw, obviously Evans is a bigger, stronger, better athlete than Alfonso Medina, but Medina understands how to play the position. I think Jared Evans is just not quite there yet.
Well, I feel Jared Evans is a run first quarterback, and he's better running first. Medina, if you watch Medina play, his footwork is spectacular. He's got great footwork. And when you have good footwork, everything else falls in line, and that's what happened for him today.
Yeah, I think the criticism of Eli Manning when he started was like he just seemed like he was too calm. But when the game got intense, when it got moved up, then he would step up. I feel the same way. I mean, I don't want to go crazy with making comparisons, but that's how I feel when I watch Medina. He's cool, calm, and collected, but when there's a rush, he understands how to go make a play.
It seems the game just slows itself down, like he's in a vortex.
Yes.
And everything's just going by him, and he's in light speed.
Right.
And everything's just going by him, and he can just manhandle that.
You're absolutely correct. That's exactly the observation I had watching him play today. In a game that was close in the first half, they pulled away in the second half. The final score, 41-27. I know Beth Haggerty's down on the field trying to rustle head coach Gifford Lindheim. We'll have that in a moment for you. 41-27 the final here on Homecoming. Thanks for watching us on SMC TV. Will Pola, Gonzalez's son.
Okay. Coach, congratulations on a great win this afternoon out here. How do you feel about how your guys did out there?
Good. It wasn't a perfect game, but we did what we needed to do, and we came alive a little in the second quarter and the second half, and we got a win. That's 13 of our last 15. That's we haven't lost a conference game since 2010. That we're 7-1, 5-0 in conference, and now we're getting ready for some showdowns next week.
How do you feel about the next 2 weeks? You got LA Pierce and Antelope Valley. Which one do you think is going to give you a bigger problem?
Well, we got to worry about the first one, and the first one is next week, and that's Pierce. I don't know what's going to happen tonight between those two. I know it's a 3-horse race, and one of us is going to end up champions. They're coming here next Saturday. We'll be ready.
Very good. Congratulations on a great game.
You know, I really like what Coach said there.
I mean, that's what he's telling us all week.
Yeah. You can't overlook your next opponent. You got to play that game. You can't control what you can't affect.
And we're going to go back down. I think she's got the birthday boy, Alfonso Medina.
Alfonso, congratulations on a great win this afternoon. Let me tell you, how did it feel in the beginning? You guys looked a little sluggish. How did you feel?
Yeah, that's how we felt in the beginning. But I mean, it was just in the beginning. Once the defense made a big play, I think it really turned things around for us, and we went from there.
I think that a little bit of your own legs helped turn it around as well. That little first down run really put a spark into your offense.
A little bit, but everyone as a whole team, we really got this victory.
How do you feel about the way your defense played today?
I felt they played well. They made plays when they had to, and they gave us the ball back quite a few times.
And how do you feel about Santa Barbara, their play today? Were they up to par? Were they giving you guys a run for your money?
I felt like they were a good team, but if we play to our potential, I feel like we can beat anybody.
And that's what we're looking for. So the next 2 weeks, you got 2 tough games. Are you guys ready to take it all the way, win the championship again?
Hopefully, yeah. We're looking forward to it.
And we all want to wish you a happy birthday. Alfonso's 20th birthday today, and he had a big win so that they're perfect 5-0 in their conference. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a great one.
You too.
All right, Beth, thank you. Final word from up here, 41-27 the final. Hopefully the Corsairs move forward into playoffs again, the second straight year. They went to a bowl game last year. For Beth Haggerty, for Will Polig, I'm Gonzalo's son. Thanks to our entire crew. I want to also special thanks to Athletic Director Joe Cassio for helping us put this together. Obviously, Brad Lemon for helping coordinate, and Gil Fetzer for directing the broadcast, and all the crew from TV 46, and also from Mike Carlucci's class for helping us out on the broadcast today. Final score again, 41-27. Santa Monica defeats Santa Barbara. For SMC TV, so long.
Happy Thanksgiving, folks.